Item number. SCP-087. Object class. Euclid. Special containment procedures. SCP-087 is located on the campus of. The doorway leading to SCP-087 is constructed of reinforced steel with an electro-release lock mechanism. It has been disguised to resemble a janitorial closet consistent with the design of the building. The lock mechanism on the doorknob will not release unless volts are applied in conjunction with counterclockwise rotation of the key. The inside of the door is lined with 6 centimeters of industrial foam padding. Due to the results of the final exploration, see document 087-4, no personnel are permitted access to SCP-087. Description. SCP-087 is an unlit platform staircase. Stairs descend on a 38-degree angle for 13 steps before reaching a semicircular platform of approximately 3 meters in diameter. Descent direction rotates 180 degrees at each platform. The design of SCP-087 limits subjects to a visual range of approximately 1.5 flights. A light source is required for any subjects exploring SCP-087, as there are no lighting fixtures or windows present. Lighting sources brighter than 75 watts have shown to be ineffective, as SCP-087 seems to absorb excess light. Subjects report and audio recordings confirm the distress vocalizations from what is presumed to be a child between the ages of and. The source of the distress calls is estimated to be located approximately 200 meters below the initial platform. However, any attempts to descend the staircase have failed to bring subjects closer to the source. The depth of descent calculated from Exploration 4, the longest exploration, is shown to be far beyond both the possible structure of both the building and geological surroundings. At this time, it is unknown if SCP-087 has an endpoint. SCP-087 has undergone 4 video-recorded explorations by Class D personnel. Each subject conducting an exploration has encountered SCP-087-1, which appears as a face with no visible pupils, nostrils, or mouth. The nature of SCP-087-1 is entirely unclear, but it has been determined that it is not the source of the pleading. Subjects exhibit feelings of intense paranoia and fear when faced with SCP-087-1, but it is undetermined whether said feelings are abnormal or simply natural reactions. Addendum. Over a period of 2 weeks following Exploration 4, several members of the staff and students from the campus reported knocking at a variable rate of 1 to 2 seconds per knock coming from the interior of SCP-087. The door leading to SCP-087 has been fitted with 6 centimeter thick industrial padding. All reports of knocking have ceased. Authorized personnel may refer to documents 087-1 through 087-4 for transcripts of Explorations 1 to 4. Document number 087-1. Exploration 1. D-8432 is a 43-year-old Caucasian male of average build and appearance and unremarkable psychological background. Class D designation is a result of demotion due to mishandling SCP. D-8432 is equipped with a 75-watt flood lamp with battery power capable of lasting 24 hours, a handheld camcorder fitted with a transmission stream, and an audio headset for communication with Dr. At control. D-8432 steps through doorway onto initial platform. Despite the wattage, the flood lamp only illuminates the first 9 steps. The second platform is not visible.
It's fucking dark. Is your flood lamp functioning properly?
D-8432 shines the light out the door and into the academic building's hallway. The light reaches significantly further.
Yeah, it's working. It just won't light these stairs all the way down.
Thank you. Please continue.
D-8432 descends for 13 steps before reaching the second platform. The platform is in the shape of a semicircle with an apparently concrete surface and walls. There are no distinct markings, aside from nondescript patches of dust, dirt, or were consistent with that which is found in a typical concrete stairwell. D-8432 rotates 180 degrees to begin descent down the second flight, then pauses.
Reason for stopping?
You hear that? There's a fucking kid down there. Sounds like one.
None of the described audio is feeding through the camera or mic at this time.
Could you please describe the sound?
It's young. Either female or a very young boy. It's crying and sobbing and saying, please, help, please. Yeah, it keeps repeating that I'm crying.
Can you estimate its distance from your current location?
Fuck, I don't know. Maybe 200 meters down?
Please continue down the next flight.
The subject descends another 13 steps. As he reaches the landing, audio of the child as described is picked up. The child alternates between sobbing, wailing, and the words, please, help, and down here. The level of audio is consistent with D-8432's report of it being approximately 200 meters below.
Can you still hear the crying?
Yeah.
We're picking it up as well. Please continue down. Stop if you notice any changes in the audio or environment.
The subject descends another 3 flights of stairs before stopping.
Keep going?
Please.
D-8432 continues another 17 flights, total of 22 flights, before stopping. There are no visual changes in the environment, and each flight has been a consistent 13 steps.
I'm not getting any fucking closer to the kid.
Stereo audio confirms that the crying noise has not increased in volume and remains approximately 200 meters below the subject.
Noted. Please continue.
The subject continues another 28 flights before stopping. 50 flights total. D-8432 is standing on the 51st landing, counting the initial ground level landing. D-8432 is estimated to be 200 meters below the initial platform. 34 minutes have elapsed. The volume of the crying has not increased.
I feel a little uneasy.
You spent a long time in a dark, unknown stairwell. It's natural. Please continue.
The subject hesitates before stepping down on the next stair. As the subject moves forward, the flood lamp illuminates a face located approximately at the bottom of the flight, SCP-087-1. It appears to be the same size and shape as a human head, except it is lacking a mouth, nostrils, and pupils. The face is completely motionless, but is making direct eye contact, indicating its awareness of D-8432.
Fuck. What the fuck is that? Shit. Holy fucking shit. What the fuck?
Can you please describe what you see?
It's some sort of fucking person face thing and it's fucking looking right at me. Fuck, it's looking right at me.
Is it moving?
No, it's just staring at me. Fuck, it's creepy.
Please approach and further illuminate the entity.
Fuck, I don't want to fucking.
The face jerks forward about 50 centimeters directly toward D-8432.
Fuck.
D-8432 enters a panic state and rapidly ascends SCP-087. D-8432 reaches the ground floor in 18 minutes, at which time he collapses and passes out. There's no sign of SCP-087-1. Review of the footage indicates an equal number of flights and steps ascending as descending. Audio of the crying and pleading remains at the same volume until the last flight, at which point it ceases. Medical reports indicate collapse was a result of the rapid ascension of the stairs, causing fatigue. Document number 087-2. Exploration 2. D-9035 is a 28-year-old African-American male of strong build. Psychological background indicates no abnormalities except an extreme hatred for women. Subject has an extensive record of. D-9035 is equipped with a 100-watt flood lamp with battery power capable of lasting 24 hours, a handheld camcorder fitted with a transmission stream, and an audio headset for communication with Dr. At control. D-9035 is also equipped with a backpack containing 100 small LED lights with adhesive backs and battery lives of approximately 3 weeks. Lights turn on and off by compressing them. D9035 shines the flood lamp down the first flight of stairs. Despite the extra wattage, the light does not illuminate beyond the 9th step.
You want me to go down there, Doc? Please shine your flood lamp outside of SCP-087 to verify it is functioning properly.
D9035 shines the light into the hallway. Comparison with the footage from exploration confirms it is indeed brighter.
Thank you. Please continue to the first landing.
Hey Doc, I know what you said and all, but I don't think I want to go there.
Please continue to the first landing.
Doc, look,
As per our earlier conversation, please continue to the first landing.
D9035 pauses for 18 seconds, then descends 13 steps to the first landing and stops.
Is that a kid?
Please remove one of the adhesive lights and affix it to the wall on the landing.
Doc, you hear that? Is that a kid down there?
That's unconfirmed. Please affix an adhesive light to the wall and verify it functions.
D9035 hesitates, then removes one of the lights from his backpack and adheres it to the wall. He presses on the light, and it turns on.
Please turn off your flood lamp.
D9035 hesitates again before turning off the lamp. The LED light illuminates the landing, but does not extend beyond the first step either way.
Thank you. You may turn your flood lamp back on. Please continue to descend. At each landing, affix an LED light to the wall and turn it on. If you notice anything unusual, please report it.
D9035 turns the flood lamp back on, then descends the next flight of stairs. As he sets foot on the landing, the audio picks up sounds of pleading and crying, consistent with those of the first exploration.
Can you still hear the previously reported audio?
Yeah. She sounds about 150, maybe 200 meters down. Am I supposed to get her? Look, document. I don't do good with kids.
Please place the light and continue down until you notice anything unusual.
The subject adheres the light to the wall and turns it on, then continues to the next landing. He adheres the third LED light to the wall and turns it on. D9035 continues in this manner for the next 25 flights before stopping.
I don't think I'm getting any closer to the kid, Doc.
How far below would you estimate the source of the sound to be?
Same as before, 150 to 200 meters down.
Thank you. Please proceed.
D9035 continues in the same fashion for the next 24 flights. At the 51st landing he stops. Footage shows an arced gouge in the concrete wall, estimated to be approximately 50 centimeters long and 10 centimeters wide. The first step down from the landing appears to be completely smashed into rubble.
You see that?
Yes. Can you please describe what you see?
Looks like something slashed at the wall, and the step over here is all crumbled up and stuff. The slash mark looks really smooth.
D9035 touches the gouge mark.
Yeah, it's smooth. Feels like glass.
Thank you. Please continue down.
Look, document. I think I've gone far enough.
Please continue, as per our agreement.
I don't want to be doing this, agreement or not.
D9035 steps over the destroyed step and continues down the staircase. Nothing is notable at the next landing. D9035 adheres an LED light to the wall and continues in the same fashion for another 38 flights. The sound of the crying and pleading still has not gotten closer. D9035 is on the 89th landing and 74 minutes have elapsed from the beginning of the exploration. Subject is estimated to be 350 meters below the initial platform.
I feel like the kid's just trying to lure me down here, document. I think it's time for me to.
D9035 stops talking and moving as the flood lamp illuminates SCP-087-1. The face is staring directly at D9035, again indicating awareness of the subject's presence. Although SCP-087-1 appears to be unmoving, its location is 38 flights below the initial encounter in Exploration I, indicating it is mobile.
Is there a reason you stopped?
Cherish every 2 minutes of the NFL, not just the ones you're warned about on FanDuel.
D9035's breathing grows labored. SCP-087-1 remains immobile for an additional 13 seconds. SCP-087-1 blinks. Yelling, incomprehensible. SCP-087-1 jerks forward until it is approximately 90 centimeters from D9035. Subject turns and flees up the stairs.
Please relax and calm down. Turn around. We need a closer look at the face.
D9035 ignores Doctor and continues rapid ascent. He continues to scream incomprehensibly.
D9035, can you hear me? Please slow down.
D9035 is unresponsive and continues rapidly climbing the stairs. His screaming diminishes to babbling. After ascending 72 flights, D9035 collapses on the 17th landing.
D9035, can you hear me?
D9035 is unresponsive, but labored breathing can be heard through the audio feed. For the next 14 minutes, D9035 is immobile. The visual feed is black, and audio picks up only the subject's breathing and the continuous pleading coming from below. After 14 minutes and 32 seconds of unchanging visual and audio feeds, the sound of a rapid heartbeat not consistent with a human heartbeat and a low cracking noise is heard. 7 seconds later, D9035 gasps and revives, continuing his ascent of the stairs rapidly and wordlessly. The heartbeat and cracking cease, and nothing abnormal is detected on the visual feed. He remains unresponsive. D9035 exits SCP-087 and sits on the floor outside of the entrance. D9035 then enters a catatonic state from which he has not yet recovered. Document number 087-3. Exploration 3. D9884 is a 23-year-old female of average build and appearance. Psychological background indicates a history of depression. Subject has a minimal record of using excessive force too. D9884 is equipped with a 75-watt flood lamp with battery power capable of lasting 24 hours, a handheld camcorder fitted with a transmission stream, and an audio headset for communication with Doctor at control. D9884 is also equipped with a backpack containing 3.75 liters of water, 15 nutrient bars, and 1 thermal blanket. D9884 stands on the ground level landing of SCP-087. The flood lamp illuminates only the first 9 steps. LED lights placed on the wall during the last exploration are not visible.
Please descend the first flight and examine the landing wall.
D9884 descends 13 steps and stops at the landing. There's no trace of the LED light at the location. Footage from Exploration 2 indicates it was placed.
Yeah, it's just a dirty concrete wall. There's like nothing on it. No, wait, it's a little bit sticky right here.
D9884 indicates the spot on the wall the LED light should have been located.
There's a child crying down there. She's begging for help and crying.
Thank you. Please continue down the steps until you notice anything unusual.
D9884 descends. Upon reaching the next landing, audio of the crying child consistent with the prior 2 explorations is picked up. No LED lights appear to be present on any of the landing walls. D9884 continues with no incident until she reaches the 17th landing.
There's something on the ground here and it smells really bad. It's all sticky and stuck on my shoe. Ugh, it's so gross.
Video feed confirms presence of substance occupying a space approximately 50 centimeters in diameter.
Can you describe the scent?
It kinda smells like old rusty metal and pee.
Thank you. Please continue until you notice anything else.
D9884 continues to the 51st landing without incident. The 51st landing remains unchanged from the previous expedition, and similar observations are made. D9884 is asked again to descend until anything unusual is noticed. Subject continues her descent until the 89th landing is reached. The video feed jerks and the subject yells.
Fuck, there's a hole in the ground and I almost fell in.
Video feed confirms the presence of a hole approximately 1 meter in diameter. The subject shines the floodlight down, revealing only blackness. Approximately 4 seconds pass, and a light of an indeterminate distance down the hole flicks on for approximately 2 seconds and then back off.
There was a light down there. It's gone now, but it was on for like a second. Did you see it?
Yes. Can you estimate the depth of this hole?
No way. It's too deep. At least a kilometer. Like, way more than a kilometer.
Thank you. Can you still hear the sounds of the child?
She still sounds far away. I don't feel like I'm getting any closer. It's like for every step I take, she takes one down.
Please continue down until you encounter anything unusual.
D9884 continues to descend SCP-087 for approximately an hour, covering an additional 164 flights. She stops to rest on the 253rd landing, consuming 1 nutrient bar and several gulps of water. D9884 is at an estimated 1.1 kilometers below the initial landing, yet the sound of the child has not changed in volume. After pausing for 4 minutes, D9884 resumes her descent, making no stops for another 216 flights, 1.5 hours later. D9884 is on the 469th landing, an approximate 1.8 kilometers below the ground level.
I'm not getting anywhere. I think it's time I went back. I mean, going down is one thing, but this is a long climb back.
You have been provided with food, water, and blankets to last you 24 hours. Please continue down.
No, I think I'm gonna go back up.
SCP-087-1, the face, is directly behind D9884, blocking her ascent. The face appears approximately 30 centimeters from the lens of the camera. Its eyes are fixed directly on the lens, this time looking not at the subject, but the person viewing the video feed. The video feed glitches and freezes for 4 seconds, accompanied by a static-like screeching noise from the audio feed. It then cuts to bumpy visuals of D9884 descending the stairs rapidly.
It's been following me. This whole time it's been right behind me. Oh god, it's right behind me. It was looking right at me. Doctor. Please do something. Please help me. Oh god, no, please get it away. Please, no, please. I knew it was following me. Help make it leave. Please, no, it was looking at me. It was staring at me. It knew I was here. It's been watching me this whole time. Oh god, please help me. No, please.
This continues in a similar fashion until the end. D9884 continues to scream and plead hysterically as she rapidly descends the staircase. The previously heard static-like screeching seems to overlay the audio feed, beneath which can still be heard the original sound of the crying child. Approximately 14 flights down, the video feed swings to show the area directly behind D9884. The face is now approximately 20 centimeters from the camera lens. It is not staring at the subject, rather it is fixated on the camera lens, giving the illusion it is making eye contact with those viewing the footage. It is important to note that since the sighting of SCP-087-1, the sound of the girl crying and pleading has been increasing in volume, indicating D9884 is nearing the source. After an approximate 150 panicked flights of descent with 3 visual confirmations of SCP-087-1 still in pursuit, D9884 trips and appears to fall unconscious. Audio feed indicates strong proximity to the source of the crying. The static and screeching noise continue. Video feed shows yet another descending flight of stairs, indicating D9884 still has not reached the base of the stairwell. 12 seconds of motionlessness pass before the face comes in full view of the camera, eye contact being made directly with the viewer. Audio and video feeds cut out, and no connection is reestablished. The 4th exploration has been removed from the file. If you guys want to see another SCP, please comment down whatever anomaly you want me to talk about.
But it's about the time they would. Balls.
Hey, Bendo, do you know the alphabets? The alphabet what? Oh, you meant alphabets. You keep saying it weird. Anyway, yeah, I know. I just kind of forgot. We'll come and I'll show you the alphabets. Alphabet! You're so stupid sometimes. Alright, look at them for a millisecond. Let's go! Alright, now let's do it. Okay. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now say it backwards. Z, Y, X, W.
Guess what I'm wearing? I'm actually in my pajamas. Anyways, today's YOS is kind of a weird one. I don't know. It seems kind of weird to me, but whatever. Let's begin. Item number: YOS 2713. Object class: Euclid. Containment procedures. Due to the nature of YOS 2713-1, YOS 2713 is to be contained on site. Area 2713 is to be kept in a bathroom locked cell. The cell should be completely locked to contain YOS 2713-1. YOS 2713 must be required to get 4 rolls of toilet paper daily. Any decrease in toilet paper left must let personnel buy more. Upon no circumstances, YOS 2713 allowed outside the cell by any means necessary. If YOS 2713-1 manages to escape the cell, the area must be in full lockdown to prevent YOS 2713-1 from causing an outbreak, and must be forced back in the cell. Personnel must wear hazmat suits to prevent YOS 2713-1 from taking effect. Description: YOS 2713 appears as an African-American human male in his young ages, which is unknown. He was believed to be a civilian in the state of Michigan. He is currently suffering from a condition that will slowly alter his skin tone to a green shading, and is experiencing several side effects. Examples: itching, defecation, and flatulence, with extreme toxic fumes. He also gained the ability to resist other fatal illnesses, and pretty much survive for long periods of time. He completely lacks all clothing due to his itchiness of his body, and is constantly uncomfortable with clothing on. He pretty much refuses to wear any more clothing and will simply be nude. YOS 2713-1 is a type of virus, skin condition, that hosts YOS 2713's body. It is severely contagious and will cause major damage to the subject's health and body. The virus is also very intelligent and will manipulate people to escape confinement areas in order to infect other subjects and other organisms. It has the unique ability to prevent other viruses from infecting other subjects and will make them live for long periods of time. It will also cause side effects when affecting the target. YOS 2713 is incapable of speech, as YOS 2713-1 prevents humans from using their vocal cords to communicate. YOS 2713-1 can also cause human subjects to behave in a very hostile manner, and will attempt to attack other subjects and kill them by defecating inside their mouths. In a second instance, YOS 2713-1 will be invading the body. Addendum 01. YOS 2713 came to the Foundation's attention when a young man was showing symptoms of a severe condition. They tracked down the man's location and secured him in his own home. He is also unable to eat or drink at all, as the virus mysteriously gives the man nutrition and vitamins to stay alive for a long period of time. So he will spend the rest of his days inside the bathroom while being unable to clean himself. Addendum 02 Incident Report. 10,003. 2713-08. While containment was set up for YOS 2713, the virus manipulates the man to become hostile according to video surveillance. He then begins to attempt to break down the cell door to escape and kill all human personnel present. He started defecating in the mouths of several staff members until he escaped the area. NTF Unit Team 6 went out to find YOS 2713 and return him back. Addendum 03. Following incident reports 1003-2713-08. But multiple breaches have occurred with YOS 2713-1 and approximately 2,560 Area 2713 staff members were killed and was out killing more civilians. Following this report, a request for reclassification to Keter is accepted. Note, the file you were attempting to read is a level 4 contagious cognito hazard. Personnel under level 4 clearance must not attempt to access the file by any means. Item number. YOS 2713. Object class. Keter. Containment procedures. The entire area of Area 2713 must be highly secured, and the outer chambers of YOS 2713 must be shut at all times. No means of acquiring YOS 2713 toilet paper is necessary at this time. In the event of YOS 2713 entering aggressive state must be quickly established for electrical equipment. YOS 2713-1 must be terminated by any means necessary to reduce the effects of YOS 2713. No one under level 4 clearance level must be within YOS 2713's containment area or attempting to access the file. It must be terminated if not responding. Temperatures must be under 90 degrees Celsius to keep YOS 2713 in a dormant state. Description. YOS 2713 is a human male of African descent, age unknown. He is currently suffering from a severe condition and experiencing severe side effects. He is also constantly unable to speak, clean himself, and eat at will, as he is being manipulated by YOS 2713-1 almost daily. His behavior can also be manipulated into a hostile state and attempt to defecate on the mouths of people to spread the virus. YOS 2713-1 is a contagious virus that shows signs of intelligence and can manipulate the body of YOS 2713 into anything to escape from confinement. Its goal is to make as much stench as possible and make YOS 2713's entire body a green shade. It is easily stunned by electrical waves and can be dormant in at constant low temperatures. Subjects who encounter YOS 2713 or personnel under level 4 clearance attempting to access the file will develop fecal matter inside their mouths and become a host for an instance of YOS 2713-1. Since multiple incidents of core, the area has been secured several times in attempt of neutralizing YOS 2713-1 are ongoing. And finally, item number YOS 2713-1, object class neutralized. Containment procedures. After termination of YOS 2713-1, no containment procedures for YOS 2713 are necessary at this time, and Area 2713 should be shut down. Description. YOS 2713-1 was a contagious virus that manipulated YOS 2713's body to escape containment. But after termination, YOS 2713 is released from its effects and is now a normal human. Note, since after the termination, samples of YOS 2713-1 inside YOS 2713 are being used for testing. See? Does that seem weird to you? Huh? I'm not sure if you get it. Anyways, yay, I guess that man is safe now because this virus is killed somehow. Probably from the electrical currents. Or something else, I don't know. We'll probably find a cure against this virus. So anyways, more anomalies like this will be explained by me or by AI voice. So, see you later, I guess. Bye.
Wash and finish, work is one. Goodbye stains, you are done.
How I found 5-Star Tacos. Open Yelp. Ooh, this one. 5-Star Tacos hit different.
Hey guys, today is going to be a new series, this time with SCPs but with descriptions only. This series will be in parts because of many SCPs in the wiki. One more before we start is that the pictures won't be shown in here, since many of you know what it is. So let's go. But first, before we start, I want to show you how the object classes are going to work. You can tell if each of these colors are on the SCP designation number. Here is the colors. If the color is yellow, it's safe. If the color is orange, it's Euclid. If the color is red, it's Keter. If the color is white, it's NA. If the color is light blue, it's a different class. If the color is blue, it's Thaumiel. If the color is turquoise, it's Apollyon. Now let's start. Dr. Kletz's proposal. SCP-001 is a humanoid entity, approximately 700 cubits in height, located in an undisclosed location near the intersection of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. The following features are known about the entity. A number of luminous, wing-like appendages emerging from the shoulders, back, temples, ankles, and wrists of the entity. Although an accurate count has never been established, most observers place the number of wings at anywhere from 2 through 108, with the mean number being 4. A weapon, possibly a sword or knife. SCP-001-2. The weapon appears to emit flames at a temperature rivaling that of the sun, based on spectrographic analysis, although there appear to be no destructive effects from the intense heat on the surrounding area. Any entity that approaches within 1 kilometer of SCP-001 is immediately struck by the weapon and obliterated from existence. Any and all hostile actions taken towards SCP-001 have resulted in the annihilation of the attacker, regardless of range. SCP-001 appears to be standing with its head bowed in a gesture of supplication with SCP-001-2 held in both hands point down in front of it. Since originally recorded by the founder over years ago, SCP-001 has not deviated from this stance. Human beings exposed to SCP-001 report hearing a voice in their heads, giving them a directive which the subject reports cannot be disobeyed. The most common directive is forget, which results in the subject walking away from SCP-001 with no memory of having encountered it. On rare occasions, however, other directives have been given. The most famous of these is the one given to the founder, prepare, which he has claimed formed the impetus for founding. To catalog and contain any and all supernatural and or paranormal artifacts that represent a serious threat to the current existence of humanity. This is the organization now known as the SCP Foundation. Observers have reported that SCP-001 appears to be standing in front of a gate of immense proportions. Long-range photographs have occasionally detected what appears to be a pastoral grove within, containing numerous other entities of the same composition as SCP-001, as well as several fruit trees of unknown composition. Of particular note are 2 fruit trees of immense proportion near what appears to be the center of the grove. One, it is noted, appears to be an ordinary apple tree, although the other bears a fruit unknown on Earth, described as. It is the avowed belief of the founder that the gate which SCP-001 guards may be the gate to, based on correlations with ancient Babylonian texts and the Dead Sea Scrolls, in which case, one can deduce that the entity known as SCP-001 may be Tufto's proposal. SCP-001 is an entity ordinarily referred to as the Scarlet King. SCP-001 is currently located in several alternate dimensions simultaneously and is unable to enter into the Prime Dimension. However, it is believed to have been repeatedly attempting entry for a period of under 300 years. SCP-001's physical, mental, and conceptual properties are unknown to the Foundation. Nevertheless, it continues to assert a strong influence on a number of individuals and events within the Prime Dimension. It is believed that SCP-001's existence represents an ongoing but dormant Toshkent-class cross-pollination scenario. Should SCP-001 enter the Prime timeline, an irreparable alteration to normalcy will occur. Containment of SCP-001 is, however, unnecessary. Any attempt to alter SCP-001's classification or object class will result in immediate dismissal from the O5 Council. References in art and oral tradition to SCP-001 appear across a wide variety of human and non-human cultures across the universe, including in communities which have never previously had any contact with one another. Common descriptions within these traditions are of a red creature of immense size, ordinarily wearing a golden crown or other headdress signifying royalty. Although the names ascribed to SCP-001 vary, the majority contain two elements, a word signifying some form of royalty combined with a word signifying the color red. Cultures which do not have a concept of the color red but follow this naming pattern universally use a color analogous to the English concept of the color red. Most personnel, except those working on anomalies related to SCP-001, possess no knowledge of the entity. As part of SCP-2317's containment procedures, Level 4 personnel are to be informed that SCP-2317 is, in fact, SCP-001. The truth of this is unknown, although it is a hypothesis which has received strong support among several members of the Council. The apparently multidimensional nature of SCP-001, however, renders the possibility of SCP-2317 being anything more than a single aspect of SCP-001 unlikely. It is unknown when SCP-001 was discovered. The loss of several archives concerning the Foundation's origins in the 1889 Snarling coup has prevented a full reconstruction of events, although an investigation shortly following. A variety of groups dedicated to bringing SCP-001 into the Prime Dimension have existed over the years. The most recent of these has been the Children of the Scarlet King, which was destroyed in a joint GOC-SCP operation in January 2018. Its former leader, D. Peshkovic, is currently in Foundation custody under the designation POI-3172. The Great Hippo's proposal, featuring Pepper's Ghost. SCP-001 is the ersatz Type AK-9 computational engine constructed by the Foundation in 1955. It was built to provide predictive analysis regarding the location and properties of undiscovered anomalies. It accomplishes this via use of a multi-layer perceptron relying upon training datasets derived from the location and properties of previous anomalies. This application of a multi-layer perceptron as an effective predictive model was only made possible by an advanced backpropagation algorithm developed by several ex-employees of Prometheus Labs, acquired by the Foundation's Department of Analytics in 1951. In 1959, it was hypothesized that SCP-001 could be used to assist in augmenting containment procedures for Euclid and Keter class anomalies via the production of predictive text. SCP-001 was trained with a dataset containing drafts for several thousand containment procedures, both previous and current iterations, which were weighted on the basis of their performance, particularly in how well they performed in comparison to their predecessors. When adopted, revisions to containment procedures suggested by SCP-001 consistently reduce the rate of breaches not only for the anomalies to which they apply, but for numerous unrelated anomalies. In many cases, these revisions have also resulted in the cessation of anomalous behavior. SD Locke's proposal. SCP-001 is the designation given to the Sun after an event on, resulting in 6.8 billion casualties within the first 24 hours. This event has been categorized as an XK Delta class solar singularity scenario. The SCP-001 effect does not seem to result from exposure to ultraviolet rays, but rather light in the visual spectrum, 390 to 700 nanometers. The effect is similarly present in moonlight. Upon contact with visible light produced by the Sun, living organisms liquefy at the point of contact, with the effect spreading until the entire organism is converted. Visually, this is reminiscent of melting wax. The time this takes is largely dependent on the level of exposure and size of the organism. Despite this restructuring, at no point do living organisms perish. Upon completion, these organisms take on a gelatinous consistency. Motile organisms will attempt to orient themselves in a fashion reminiscent of their previous form, to varying degrees of success. Flora typically remain physically inert, yet are still capable of photosynthesis, and still produce oxygen. Organisms capable of flight lose the capability to do so. Fauna remain sentient, and display behavior that parallels their non-anomalous counterparts when not absorbed into a collective instance. Humans retain a modicum of sapience and memory. Biological anomalies exposed to SCP-001 are affected in the same manner. It seems that exposure nullifies any previously expressed anomalous characteristics. Due to their composition, instances of SCP-001-A that make contact with one another may combine and blend at the molecular level. This does not seem to cause any pain nor distress to the instances, though the resulting bulk can inhibit movement. Since the SCP-001 event, most instances have congregated into such collectives, which seem to possess no maximum volume. The resulting biomass is amorphous and chaotic. The component organisms will shift between a full to semi-liquid state. Limbs and bodies will rise periodically from within the mass for a short duration, before deteriorating and being subsumed by another life form. Collective instances will locomote by using their appendages in tandem to carry their mass. Larger instances will form a pseudopod from their constituent life forms, and drag themselves about in a manner similar to amoeba. Jonathan Ball's proposal. SCP-001 is a simple sheaf of papers, stapled together in the top left corner. The top sheet is a covering sheet reading simply, confidential report on special items, classified. The number of subsequent papers stapled to this covering sheet is indeterminate, and have ranged from 3 to 30. The report is unsigned and its origin is unknown. The first appearance of this report was on when it appeared on the desk of the report at that time described the living room. Shortly after reading the report with incredulity, was contacted by phone regarding said item. The next time perused SCP-001, it described not the living room but biological motherboard. Immediately closed SCP-001, thinking it was a different report, and searched for the original report on SCP-002. Not finding it, he again opened SCP-001, and this time it described not SCP-003 but the 12 rusty keys and the door. Closed the report once more and opened it immediately, to read of skeleton key. It is not known what the next actions of might have been. At varying times following this incident, the aforementioned items were discovered. Insufficient research exists concerning the correlation between SCP-001 and all other known items. However, it has been established that every event regarding the discovery of a new SCP item has followed a report on that same item appearing beneath the cover sheet of SCP-001. The current administration regards this coincidence as proof of causal connection. Jim North's proposal. SCP-001 is a male human known as Dr. Wondertainment. It is a Class 1 reality bender capable of imbuing otherwise mundane creations with anomalous properties, focusing its abilities on the creation of toys, board games, candy, and various other products marketed at children. It distributes these items via anomalous means from an unknown location. Product examples include paper that takes on the properties of whatever shape it's folded into, a playset capable of creating animate shadows, and lollipops that allow people to switch voices. Euclid classification. SCP-001 is a male human known as Dr. Reginald Filbert Lionel Archibald Westinghouse Wondertainment III. It is a Class 2 reality bender capable of crafting a variety of anomalous items, focusing its abilities on the creation of toys, board games, candy, soft drinks, video games, and various other products typically marketed at children and teenagers. It distributes these items via magically anomalous means from an unknown and very mysterious location. It is most famously responsible for the creation of the Little Misters line of collectible living action figures that have inspired many imitators but no substitutes. Examples include Mr. Fish, Mr. Laugh, Mr. Soap, and Ms. Sweetie. Keter classification. SCP-001 is a corporate entity operating under the trademark logo Dr. Wondertainment. The collective abilities of its constituent employees are equivalent to that of a Class 3 reality bender capable of crafting a variety of anomalous and very affordable items, focusing their abilities on the creation of toys, board games, candy, soft drinks, video games, collectible trading cards, puzzles, musical instruments, and various other products typically marketed at children, teenagers, and young adults. They distribute these items via anomalously streamed means from a mysterious location known only as Wonder World. Factory tours run Tuesday through Friday, every hour starting at 11 a.m. Some of the more prominent products to have come from the geniuses in their R&D department include Dr. Wondertainment's Dragon Snails, Dr. Wondertainment's Super Science Little Chemist Kit, Dr. Wondertainment's SCP Foundation Containment Side Playset, and the vaunted Venda Friend System. Buy them all today. Thaumiel classification. SCP-001 is a female humanoid known as Dr. Isabel Helgen Anastasia Parvati Wondertainment V. She's a totally bad but Class 4 reality bender capable of just about anything your wildest imagination can come up with, focusing her abilities on the creation of a bunch of zany stuff made for children of all ages. She distributes these items via super duper ultra anomalous means from wherever she happens to be at the time. She is responsible for a lot of the sillier SCP objects found throughout the universe. Stuff like this and that and maybe this one too? Sure, why not? But not that pretendo thing, because video games rot your brains, kids. Apollyon classification. SCP-001 is a deity-level entity commonly referred to as Dr. Wondertainment. It is a Class 5 reality bender capable of altering or outright breaking every fundamental principle upon which the cosmos is based, focusing its abilities on the creation of a virtually infinite variety of anomalous items. It distributes these items with a mere snap of its fingers from anywhere in the universe it happens to be at the time, which can literally be anywhere. I'm skipping the rest of the description since this was supposed to talk about abilities. The neutralized classification will also be skipped since it's just conversations. Jordan Mitik's proposal. SCP-001 is a group of 36 individuals, designated SCP-001-01 through SCP-001-036. There is no apparent pattern in terms of ethnicity, gender, age, or religious affiliation amongst SCP-001 subjects. SCP-001 subjects display no anomalous properties of their own. However, any anomalous item, entity, or property brought into close proximity with an SCP-001 subject will be greatly modified from its original properties. Most often, this will result in a lessening or total nullification of anomalous properties. Those properties not nullified will be changed so as to display consistency between objects of similar properties. All of these effects are instantaneous and will occur without any input from the subject. The area of these effects will expand when multiple SCP-001 subjects are brought together, as well as the intensity of changes. Multiple SCP-001 subjects are capable of nullifying anomalous effects without being aware of the presence of said objects. All subjects of SCP-001 seem to be instinctively aware of information regarding other SCP-001 subjects, generally the total number of the group and details of between 1 and 3 individuals. This knowledge is vague, making locating uncontained subjects difficult. The death of an SCP-001 subject will result in the manifestation of multiple anomalous entities and phenomena in the area. These manifestations will be of such a scope that traditional containment measures are unfeasible and will result in significant casualties and collateral damage. Contained SCP-001 subjects have claimed that this is a result of the deceased individual's absence letting things through, and that further events will be more severe as time progresses. In addition, contained subjects have claimed that any deceased individuals will be replaced by a newborn bearing the appropriate properties. No such individuals have yet been located.
Switching to Shopify helps you sell smarter at every stage of your business. Create a custom store, find more shoppers, and get the best converting checkout on the planet. Whatever your stage, businesses that grow with Shopify. Switch today at shopify.com/YouTube audio.
Ignis proposal II. SCP-001 is an entropic entity of significant power and influence believed to reside somewhere outside of conventional reality. In the majority of pre-Foundation records, SCP-001 is referred to as the Black Moon. Historical records, along with testimony from the administrator, indicate that SCP-001's influence upon the material world consists of the sudden and random obliteration of conscious organisms. This obliteration consists of the organisms in question being spontaneously transmuted into a solid black substance, which then disappears entirely 4 seconds later. According to the administrator, this obliteration is exceedingly rare, occurring only once every few decades, but he claims that the frequency and speed of these obliterations will increase exponentially over time. It is currently unknown whether SCP-001 possesses actual intelligence or simply acts as an impartial force. Information on SCP-001 obtained from numerous historical and prehistorical sources suggests that it is incapable of acting while being directly observed. These sources cannot be proven as reliable, however, as none list incidents of this approach actually being successful. In addition, due to the fact that SCP-001 does not exist in conventional reality and acts remotely, direct observation of it is not currently possible. Due to the fact that, if the administrator's hypothesis is correct, SCP-001 has the potential to present a total existential threat if left to its own devices. The execution of Project Oromist has been approved. Project Oromist consists of the intentional creation and modification of anomalous objects in order to aid in the containment or neutralization of SCP-001. Quantum's proposal. SCP-001 is a smooth, black, perfectly ellipsoidal, 15.1 cm by 15.4 cm by 16.5 cm onyx gemstone with a mottled white pattern. Wrapped around its exterior, encompassing its equator and both poles, is a complex and layered fractal filigree of gold metal. The gold is sculpted into broad strokes at what is now usually agreed to be the lower or south pole of the object, but with increasing latitude the pattern becomes progressively more intricate. Near the north pole, also called the lock or singularity, the pattern complexity progresses beyond the capability of optical or electron beam microscopes to resolve. Further investigation is pending advances in microscopy technology. The gemstone continuously emits a small quantity, 34.5007 to 34.5010 megawatts, of thermal radiation in the microwave range. As a result, the gold filigree is warm to the touch. The white mottled areas emit fractionally more radiation than the black onyx areas. Other than this, SCP-001 is totally inert. It is opaque to all forms of electromagnetic and hard radiation, and, so far, indestructible. Its onyx or gold composition is guessed from visual inspection, since the taking of samples for chemical analysis has proven impossible. Lily's proposal. SCP-001 refers to an event occurring shortly before the cessation of all life on Earth. Whilst SCP-001 has not yet taken place, it was discovered through various pieces of information gathered from extra-universal foundations and other similar groups. It is important to note SCP-001 is not the cause of the apocalyptic scenario, merely a pre-occurrence response to it. SCP-001 is, according to records, distinctively recognized by certain key features. During an SCP-001 event, flowers are observed to spontaneously appear and bloom over till the 90% of the viable land surface of the planet. These flowers are universally referred to as vibrant, bright, beautiful, and or words to this effect. The weather will clear, globally, with an ambient temperature recognized as comfortable by the majority of the populace. Air pollution will additionally clear. During an SCP-001 event, the global populace will become aware of the fate of the Earth, and of its inevitability. They will also experience heavily decreased levels of violence. SCP-001 will occur exactly 24 hours before the death of all life on the planet. Dr. Mann's proposal. SCP-001 is a circular gravel path in a wooded area. When traveled in a counterclockwise direction, the trail is continuously uphill, even after reaching the original point. When traveled in a clockwise direction, the trail shows the same amount of uphill and downhill travel, as expected. Level 5 clearance is required to access SCP-001's experiment log. New members of Overseer Council are required to read document 001-05. Bright's proposal is about the tale of the factory, so no need to read it, but it can create any products imaginable, and created multiple SCP objects. Dr. Gear's proposal. 6'5" tall, 97 pounds, average, varies by 5 to 10 pounds higher or lower, unknown age, gray-brown skin, maybe bruising, eye color milky blue, no hair, emaciated appearance, bone and muscle structure unlike any recorded species, legs are long and thin, ending in sharp black points, 3 fingers on each hand, also ending in black points, legs and arms are twice as long as torso, no reproductive organs, anal orifice, ears, nose, or pores anywhere on body, head is spherical, very large in proportion to body, neck appears too thin to support head, mouth extends halfway around head, no lips, 21 teeth, spaced randomly around mouth, many appear broken, rotten, or chipped, eyes are large, ball-shaped, milky blue sphere presumably kept in the head or throat, appears to roll into the mouth when mouth is open, has no pupil or iris. Captain Kirby's proposal. SCP-001 is the entity known as 0513. The exact nature of SCP-001 is not yet known. How SCP-001 came to be in the position of 0513 is still under investigation. Due to the current lack of understanding of SCP-001, it has been deemed necessary to keep SCP-001 unaware of its containment. SCP-001 is known to take on the appearance of a 1.9 meters tall male human of Latin American descent. Whether or not this is SCP-001's true form or disguise is still under investigation. SCP-001 was classified as anomalous following the Caesar incident. While details of the Caesar incident are under investigation by the O5 Council, the following events are understood to be the result of the Caesar incident. The death of all previous O5 Council members, except for O513. The destruction of the previous Site-01. The loss of all documentation regarding SCP-001 prior to the Caesar incident, had such documentation existed. It is also understood that SCP-001 caused the Caesar incident through manifestation of its anomalous properties. Due to the lack of information about the Caesar event, it is currently believed that one of these properties is antimemetic in nature, although this has not yet been confirmed. Kalining's proposal. SCP-001 is a sapient entity or entities capable of initiating and exerting control over anomalous phenomena on Earth and in all regions of space observable thus far by modern scientific methods. SCP-001 is hostile, and is believed to be motivated by a desire to cause profound distress and suffering to humanity on a planetary scale. The methodology of SCP-001 in achieving this goal appears to include undermining large-scale human institutions and specifically eroding belief in a rational consensus reality. Anomalous activity has been documented by the Foundation since its inception in, and evidence exists of such activity dating back to the beginnings of recorded history. However, shortly after the formal establishment of the Foundation, this activity increased sharply, and early statistical models suggested a coordinated actor behind a significant amount of documented anomalies. The presence of an agent causing this phenomena was confirmed in 1953. Communication was received from SCP-001 by the Foundation in early 1954, demonstrating that SCP-001 possessed sapience and intelligence that was sufficiently analogous to humans to enable a meaningful transfer of information. The records of this communication are limited to Level 5 clearance at this time. Upon receiving the communication from SCP-001, Project Serapis was initiated. This project is believed to have interfered significantly with SCP-001's ability to locate and perceive humanity and Earth during its lifetime, accounting for a sharp decline in the rate of new anomalous phenomena and fewer anomalies of a high-impact nature. With the cessation of SCP-2798, SCP-001 has succeeded in locating and properly identifying the population of Earth, and resumed its direct influence over anomalous activity on Earth and local environs as of the 2nd of November 2016. This has taken the form of newly documented anomalies, as well as the spontaneous disappearance and reappearance outside of Foundation custody of previously contained phenomena, in new iterations that have been altered to apparently cause greater amounts of difficulty in containment and heightened psychological impact upon Foundation personnel and civilians. A developing listing of altered phenomena with existing SCP designations is attached to this file. The precise nature of SCP-001 itself is unknown at this time. Available sources of information suggest that SCP-001 is alive, occupies a plane of existence either similar or identical to that observable by humanity, displays a form of intelligence organically similar to that of humans or adapted to be such, and possesses an intimate understanding of human psychology. The purpose behind SCP-001's manipulation of local reality is not discernible with current information. No means are now known of interfering directly with SCP-001. Anthony's proposal. SCP-001 is an 84-year-old male who has been conceptually merged with the universal process of death. As such, by using SCP-001 as a catalyst, the process of death can be manipulated to a limited extent. For example, it is believed that the removal of SCP-001's tongue and damage to its eardrums inflicted prior to Foundation containment is the reason for the reduced rate of exclusionary deal with death events in the modern age. Through a process of neurosurgery and cognitotherapy, SCP-001 has been successfully afflicted with a form of targeted prosopagnosia. Specifically, it is incapable of recognizing the faces of any members of the O5 Council. Due to its conceptual status, this incapability on its part becomes an incapability on the part of death by extension. As a result of this, all members of the O5 Council are unable to die or otherwise decay. This death-exempt status is scheduled to be extended to other vital personnel in the future. It is believed SCP-001 was first created by a London-based organization called the Eternal Circle using a combination of thaumaturgy and Eric Chan conceptual engineering. SCP-001 and records describing its creation by the group were recovered by personnel during a raid on its headquarters. The majority of the group's members were killed during this attack. When the potential uses of SCP-001 were realized shortly after acquisition, it was transferred to its current location at Site-01 and designated a Thaumiel class anomaly. Judging from SCP-001's physical condition and lack of response to stimuli, it is believed it suffered severe trauma during its time in GOI 6616's custody. Several thaumaturgical circles have been carved into its back as part of the process used to create it, and its limbs have been amputated at some point in the past. Despite the severity of these injuries, they are not expected to cause difficulties in maintaining SCP-001 for the foreseeable future. IHP and SD Locke's proposal. SCP-001 refers to Site-100, a non-Euclidean facility that was either constructed or discovered by the Foundation in the early 1900s. Entrance Alpha, the primary entrance to SCP-001, is currently located in the southwestern United States. The next migration event is expected to occur in 2021. The interior of SCP-001 has been excavated from at least one extra-dimensional space, with anomalous transit corridors, colloquially known as routes, connecting them. These routes possess various anomalous properties, and are typically in an exterior natural environment of some form, despite SCP-001 being entirely subterranean. For example, Route Aleph, connecting the archives to the core, is a volcanic beach that abruptly terminates in a sheer obsidian wall that extends into the horizon. Fish that appear to be made of living igneous rock are found swimming in the waters. Route F, which connects sapient containment and the core, opens into a large hallway with walls made of glass and mirrors, similar to an archetypal funhouse attraction. Individuals who attempt to walk through Route F inevitably end up at their starting point. Route Daleth, connecting conceptual containment and the core, is a vast, glowing ocean with no transversable path. Due to the nature of conceptual containment, constructing or bringing in a water-faring vessel is highly impractical. Route Vav, connecting esoteric and conceptual containment, is a vast field that is filled with various varieties of fruit trees that is incapable of being crossed. A year-long expedition into Route Vav resulted in failure after a member of the expedition team expressed a desire to return home, and all members of the team found themselves back in esoteric containment. Route Zadi, connecting administration and CMS, resembles a large Igapo forest. Exploration into this area shows it to be on top of some form of floating mountain. Signs directing individuals to the path appear when areas are not being observed. Flamingos are the sole species of animal that inhabit Route Zadi. Route Pei, connecting administration and archives, runs through the 5th floor of a tenement building in an unknown city. Inhabitants are humanoid, and will invite Foundation personnel to partake in recreational activities with them. Route Shin, connecting sapient and conceptual containment, acts as the primary power generator for Site-100, as it contains several hundred perpetual motion machines which generates a constant 8.7 gigawatts of electricity. SCP-001 is divided into 10 major sectors: Entrance Alpha, Administration, Archives, 6 additional containment sectors, and the Core Sector. The structural elements of each containment sector appears to be concrete and rebar, with tiled flooring and fluorescent lighting reminiscent of standard Foundation site construction. However, each of the containment sector is several stories tall and are framed in a panoptic structure, with the floors accessible via several glass elevators situated in the open central space. Each containment area contains several instances of SCP-001-K or access apertures, termed thresholds by site staff, to areas of localized reality containing these items if physically located outside of SCP-001. Each SCP-001-K instance represents an anomaly that is capable of perfectly containing an extant Keter class SCP object. These items are contained in such a way that their individual anomalous properties result in the containment of all items in the same area. Certain humanoid and/or sapient Keter class anomalies, such as Dr. Audrey McGrath, Agent Ji Hu Cho, and containment specialists Dano, Endo, and Befrio Gray, have been forcibly conscripted by SCP-001 to act as Foundation personnel to aid in containment using their anomalous abilities. This conscription anomalously prevents any official Foundation documentation from referencing these individuals using SCP designations beyond the generalized SCP-001-K designation. In the event that a newly created or discovered anomaly is designated as Keter class, SCP-001 will begin the process of judgment. During this, at least one section of wall within a containment area will recess into itself, with a short summary of the SCP in question, typically less than 3 sentences, written upon it. Following a period between 2 weeks and 7 months, if SCP-001 deems the item as needing to be contained within itself, the recess will deepen and expand, and the corresponding SCP object will appear inside it, alongside a second, newly generated SCP-001-K instance used to contain it. This SCP-001-K instance is generated along with relevant documentation, such as containment procedures, images, and occasionally, experiment logs. Individuals mentioned in these logs recall taking part in listed experiments, but cannot remember when they occurred. In certain cases, SCP-001 will reject an SCP object. For example, SCP-008 was deemed to not require containment within itself, and was reassigned a Euclid classification. Billith's proposal. SCP-001 is the planetary body known as Earth. Given that SCP-001 has existed for the entirety of human memory and written history, the anomalous improbability of Earth's nature as compared to all other planets in the observable universe investigated by the Foundation's TELUS program is regarded as normal within public perception. Personnel are to remind themselves daily of the anomalous nature of the planet, especially during times of perceived ennui in regards to their participation within the Foundation or when engaging in descending thought patterns. Personnel are to encourage one another to persevere through difficult workplace situations with the knowledge that the planet we inhabit is anomalous in its entirety and resists the order of civilization with chaos and aberration. Doing so has increased both productivity and containment success rates, the latter of which by over 12% in the last 5 years. SCP-001-E1 is the designation for the remains of a superluminal interstellar arc recovered during an archaeological expedition in the Atacama Desert of Chile between 1922 to 1946, led by American paleontologist Dr. Hubert. Reported his findings to the Society for American Archaeology, piquing the interest of a number of different parties. The remaining fragments of the ship's outer hull and mechanical components were excavated and found to be comprised of highly durable exotic polymers that appeared unaffected by time or exposure to the elements. Various dating methods have analyzed the material and yielded inconsistent results. Despite this, recovered information suggests the vessel was several billion years old. Large areas of SCP-001-E1 appear to have been converted into makeshift living space, implying the vehicle was intact when it landed and did not crash upon its arrival. In addition, remnants of personal effects such as clothing, electronics and furniture were recovered and contained, all possessing anomalous materials and abilities that resisted normal wear to varying degrees. The full size of the vessel is unknown but considered to be large enough to contain a substantial population of humans, the remains of which decomposed naturally, aside from PY-001, who was recovered from within SCP-001-E2. SCP-001-E2 is a set of 10 advanced cryogenic stasis pods discovered among the wreckage in a low-power hibernation mode during excavation of SCP-001-E1. Of the pods discovered, all but one were. With the final member, POI-001, possessing base physiology and brain activity expected from recovered imagery and records. POI-001's core tenets and general distrust of anomalous artifacts would establish the Foundation's presence on Earth as a force to contain aberrant objects, locations, and phenomena, beginning with those found inside SCP-001-E1. Also found among the rubble were several data storage devices that appeared to have been destroyed, despite being comprised of similar exotic materials as other items found inside SCP-001-1, suggesting they may have been damaged with exotic/anomalous tools. Analysis was largely unsuccessful, with the only salvageable information recovered from a 4 cm to the power of 3 fragment of compressed materials that form a complex, multi-layered information medium presented as a set of vertical data stacks. The information recovered from the interpreted fragment were then translated from their original language, comprised of Class 1 cognitohazardous glyphs that appear similar to the engravings found on SCP-093. These glyphs seem to cause a subjective Rosetta Stone effect in readers, allowing for nearly full comprehension of the material regardless of known lexicons and proficiency. Analysis of the language is ongoing. Jcox's Proposal 1. Item 001 is the group designation for 9 human beings, ages 4 to 11, who gained anomalous properties as a result of Project 001, Twins of God. Due to improper use of Item 001, resulting in the death of a high-ranking staff member, termination was necessitated. As a result, Item 001 was put into its current containment. All 9 instances of Item 001 are functionally brain-dead, but continue to display signs of life despite the nature of their containment. Item 001 instances emit massive amounts of gamma radiation, often in excess of GeJ, in distinct patterns. When separated, these patterns appear random. However, certain characteristics become evident when the instances are brought together, and as such, each instance is contained roughly from any other instance of Item 001. Additionally, Item 001 are noticeably radioluminescent. Video observation of Item 001 instances is impossible when instances are active, as video recordings experience decay of footage when instances are on screen. Item 001 instances are capable, when within a range of no greater than 20 meters from any other instance of Item 001, of long-distance termination of objects, places, or individuals. Additional information regarding this property is detailed later in this file. By order of the Overseer Council, Item 001 has been classified as a thaumial entity. Twisted Gears Cactus Proposal. SCP-001 is a collection of anomalous items, formerly a single, massive mechanical entity assembled by members of the Church of the Broken God in late 1942 near La Paz, Mexico. Items include SCP-217, SCP-1139, SCP-882, and several internal components of SCP-629. Members of the Church combined the various anomalous objects in an effort to restore their deity. Upon activation, SCP-001 reportedly began to integrate metallic objects into itself while actively seeking other anomalous objects. SCP-001, and the resulting 001 apotheosis event that took place as a result of its assembly, was the cause of significant environmental changes in western Mexico, and required one of the most widespread use of amnestics to date. Post-event, the active components of SCP-001 were taken to Foundation sites for containment, while the inactive component of SCP-001 remained on the bottom of the Gulf of California, at approximately 23.807,269, negative 108.418,369. Jcox's Proposal 2. SCP-001 is a humanoid gravitational singularity currently contained within the Area 11 Pietre-Calfontaine array. SCP-001 is immeasurably dense. Only by mitigating its effect on space-time through the use of Scranton-Kempf devices are Foundation personnel able to maintain the structural integrity of the spatial stabilization array. SCP-001 is not visible without specialized equipment, usually high-contrast infrared cameras, as it is constantly surrounded by a dense cloud of radioactive gas and atomized debris. Additionally, being a singularity, SCP-001 does not reflect light, and is visible only by the obfuscation of light around it. SCP-001 is capable of manipulating the nature of reality through alterations in gravity that change the shape and structure of space-time. As such, its anomalous capabilities cannot be dampened by anything other than the Pietre-Calfontaine array, and the alterations to space-time made by SCP-001 are irreversible. This is only to know the nature of the Foundation. Medike Proposal. SCP-001 is an autonomous biomechanical device produced by SCP-001 Alpha and SCP-001 Omega during Project Fontasos. SCP-001 is semi-sapient, hosting a consciousness sustained in a perpetual state of REM sleep. Although Project Fontasos designed SCP-001's physical form to be completely self-maintaining, self-sustaining and self-preserving while exposed to sunlight, its location within the Oneroid Collective is believed to have altered these biological functions. It is hypothesized that SCP-001 does not require any sustenance whatsoever, and may be immune to, or capable of regenerating from, any damage incurred. The dream state experienced by SCP-001 functions as a simulated reality based upon a narrative input during Project Fontasos. Due to its fluid nature, this reality has undergone numerous changes since its initiation and now feature rampant fluctuating details and self-conflictions. The primary narrative, however, has not been catastrophically damaged by these, and inhabitants of the reality are predominantly oblivious to these changes. This is a choose an adventure thing. S. Andrew Swan's Proposal. Data expunged. WJS Proposal. SCP-001 is the document describing consensus reality. Anomalous activity is therefore defined as any activity that occurs outside the parameters of the document. The document may describe certain characteristics of reality as inherently anomalous, as decided upon by the O5 Council. General practice has included universal laws of gravitation, physical forces, and basic chemistry, biology, sociology, and philosophy. Presently, discoveries and technological development are not considered anomalous as long as they are built on a framework of knowledge previously designated consensus reality using the scientific method. All new claims of discovery are to be monitored for developments outside the parameters of SCP-001 which can be reproducible. Claims of discovery that cannot be reproduced and appear to affect the perception of only the individual reporting the claim are not considered anomalous and can be allowed into the general public. In most cases, these claims may result in the public calling them hallucinations, crackpot theories, or conspiracies, and discounted. This is to be encouraged because it allows for plausible deniability when an anomaly is more widely witnessed in public. All activities and objects outside the parameters of SCP-001 are to be tracked, secured, contained, removed from public knowledge, and protected by the SCP Foundation. Studies from such objects can be used in proposals for further updates to SCP-001. Spike Brennan's Proposal. SCP-001 is an irregularly shaped volume of space, approximately 65,000 cubic meters in volume inclusive of space both above and below the original ground level, located at in the Sinai. Apart from its thaumaturgic properties, SCP-001 is unremarkable, and matter and energy can freely enter and leave it. Archaeological work performed by the French Commission des Sciences et des Arts in the late 18th century indicated the remains of a stone structure at the site dating to the late 2nd millennium BCE fitting the description of an inn. As a result of the construction of Facility T, no trace of the original structure remains. SCP-001 is distinguished as the only known natural location on Earth with absolute zero ambient Akiva radiation. Experimentation has verified that this condition persists even when an emission source of Akiva radiation is brought near or within the spatial limits of SCP-001, which indicates that not only does the outer boundary of SCP-001 impermeably block Akiva radiation from crossing in either direction, SCP-001 absorbs and destroys any Akiva radiation that would otherwise be generated within its volume. As a consequence of SCP-001's properties, the natural progression of degeneration or termination of Homo sapiens' cognitive function and organic functionality are suspended while the Homo sapiens subject in question remains within the limits of SCP-001. Put another way, subject to certain limitations, human death does not occur within SCP-001. A dormitory facility has been constructed within Building T01, containing living spaces for all members of the Foundation's O5 Council and certain other members of senior management. Presently, 9 of the 12 members of the O5 Council reside within the dormitory, and 8 of those 9 have not exited exited from building T01 since the completion of its construction. Due to SCP-001's properties, it is also used as a control site for the Foundation's thaumaturgic research program, including the development of applications for instances of SCP-2336-A. SCP-001 consists of all living members of the Homo sapien species without exception. These currently include humans living in the relic dimension R42 and the PD paradimension. The anomaly first came into existence and developed in the relic dimension R42, and later activated in PD by accident. Unchecked growth of SCP-001 will cause annihilation of the entire multiverse. It is known to our researchers that, at the moment of the Big Bang, the formation of a finite number of parallel dimensions happened in an event referred to as alpha. Creation of new dimensions in natural conditions, without disruption, is impossible. Due to unknown causes, humanity came to exist in only one of the 57 relic dimensions, in dimension R42. The danger to reality that SCP-001 poses lies in its anomalous capability for wide-scale replication of paradimensions. This term refers to a parallel reality which has an extremely small deviation from its parent. It is known that any conceived human decision, even those completely inconsequential, occurring within time complements the multiverse with n paradimensions, where n is the number of choices in the decision, wherein a unique resolution to the event occurs in each. As such, dimensions housing living instances of SCP-001 uncontrollably grow a colossal number of minimally differing paradimensions every second. Other relic dimensions, R01 to R57, barring R42, do not have paradimensions, as humanity has not come to exist in those dimensions due to unknown causes, and as such, all processes therein follow natural physical laws only. R42's SCP Foundation is not aware of whether other relic dimensions contain other forms of sapient life, but even if it does exist, there is no sign of further paradimension replication in those dimensions. R42's analytics have determined a ceiling on the colossal amount of paradimensions, surpassing which will destroy the multiverse as a whole. This value is referred to as omega. There is no visual way to represent this number. An estimation of omega is enclosed in the addenda and can only be deduced through a cascade of highly challenging mathematical calculations. In roughest estimation, accounting for the current speed of approach of the number of parallel dimensions to omega, predictions for growth of PD's populace, and the worst-case scenario, the death of the multiverse, also known as the ZK-class cross-reality failure event, can be expected to occur within 0.3 years plus minus 2 months after the reception of this message. The paradimensions created through replication exist in a state of existence uncertainty, or stasis, while indirectly affecting the stability of the multiverse and objectively forming due to the effects of SCP-001. Each paradimension does not exhibit signs of its existence due to the lack of any physical processes within it. This state is broken after opening a space-time tunnel into the dimension. At that moment, the existence uncertainty ends and the paradimension begins to exist in the full meaning of this term. All physical processes begin to flow as if they always have been from the Big Bang to the moment of the dimension's formation. Due to the fact that new beings come into existence with the abolition of existence uncertainty, this dimension becomes a source of paradimension replication in itself. You and your paradimension PD were created approximately 17.4 R42 years ago and afterwards remained in a state of existence uncertainty for an extended period of time. Emergence from this state and beginning of you and your dimension's factual existence happened approximately 0.7 PD years ago after an exploratory portal from R42 was briefly opened into your world. As such, the society of R42 technologically and historically surpasses PD by approximately 16.7 years, which has allowed R42's SCP Foundation to discover SCP-001 and develop computing solutions of colossal scale, which in turn considerably advanced the research of this anomaly. Wrong proposal. SCP-001 is a successful occurrence of a ZK-class restructuring scenario, which generated the current reality via the alteration of a previous iteration of reality. Based on first-person accounts, SCP-001 occurred on the 1st of June in the year 1900 Anno Domini of the previous reality. The nature of SCP-001 is such that all causes, events, references, and memories of Occult War 1 are omitted and replaced with various anomalous and non-anomalous parallels in the current reality. Foundation documentation regarding Occult War 1 is obtained from anecdotal accounts of 13 non-anomalous human beings who retain their memories of the previous reality via a phenomenon coined as partial SCP-001 immunity. However, the mechanism behind partial SCP-001 immunity is unknown and will not be assessed, as decided by the O5 Council. Efforts to identify additional individuals, if any, with partial SCP-001 immunity are on indefinite hiatus, as decided by the O5 Council. The cause and origin of SCP-001 are unknown and cannot be ascertained. It is unknown if SCP-001 or its equivalent has occurred prior to its known occurrence or may ever occur in the future. Additionally, it is unknown if SCP-001 represents a typical or atypical occurrence of a CK-class restructuring scenario. In the event that SCP-001 or its equivalent has occurred or will occur, it is speculated that the majority, if not all, of mankind and or sapient entities will have no recollection of them or the events prior to the moment of occurrence. It cannot be ascertained if partial SCP-001 immunity is applicable to future occurrences of SCP-001 or its equivalent. The definition of SCP-001 was finalized by the O5 Council in a 5-4 vote, and the Forbidden City Convention was ratified on the 7th of September in the year 1901 Anno Domini. Rounderhouse's proposal. SCP-001 refers to a collection of 13 anomalous areas present within Site-01. These anomalous areas vary in size and effect, and are scattered throughout the ground of the site. A full list of SCP-001 instances is attached below. Site-01 is a mansion in rural Virginia constructed between 1764 and 1766 by Duke Franz C. Williams, an Austrian noble who would later become the founder and current administrator of the Foundation. Williams' emigration from Europe was incited by the 7 Years' War, later regarded as the First Occult War. Documents relate that he arrived in the New World in a private party of 12, purchasing the land for the mansion ahead of time. The party that arrived would become the first overseers of the Foundation that they formed, though the organization as it is today would not take shape until the late 19th century during the American Civil War. It became customary for new overseers to make their own additions to the mansion as they were inducted, modifying and changing rooms to suit their needs, often with anomalous effects. Due to the secrecy associated with the former O5 Council, access to the site itself was severely restricted until very recently. SCP-001-01 is the Bridge Archive, an underground storage area below Site-01 that holds approximately 2,000 historical artifacts from the early 18th century to the late 21st. While a few artifacts are anomalous in and of themselves, the vast majority are not. However, handling an object of historical value within SCP-001-01 subjects the handler to a sudden burst of visions, typically associated with the object's historical context. SCP-001-02 is a converted bedroom in the east wing of the mansion. Most furniture has been removed to make room for 30 monitors and televisions mounted to the walls. These displays constantly output a variety of global information. Examples: the daily innate SDAQ average, the precipitation levels of the Middle East. Higher priority information is permanently held on the larger screens, while smaller screens switch out between data feeds, seemingly at random. The source of the feeds and power to the screens is unknown. None are connected to anything except each other. SCP-001-03 is a warehouse on the outer grounds of Site-01. Remodeled into a workshop, it contains manufacturing implements and industrial machinery from a variety of time periods, as well as raw materials and hand tools. Any item crafted in SCP-001-03 using the tools and machinery available will carry some sort of minor anomalous effect with it. These can range in power and type, but largely result in magic items that are anomalously improved at their given function. A number of these items are strewn around the workshop with labels. SCP-001-04 is a private library located in the west wing of Site-01. It contains a variety of texts and books, all concerning various anomalous phenomena. While most of these books have been written, some will be written at some point in the future or have never been written at all, and thus do not technically exist. SCP-001-04 was placed into Site-01 via thaumaturgic ritual aimed at amputating a portion of the Wanderer's library. The ritual succeeded, but resulted in the annihilation of the caster. SCP-001-05 is a large greenhouse and conservatory inside the gardens behind the east wing. A variety of colorful plants grow inside, completely unique. The species no longer exist anywhere else in the world. They have never been documented by modern science, and only exist after having been meticulously reconstructed by Foundation Gene Labs. While never documented by modern science, archaic herbariums from medieval Britain indicate that the species closely match descriptions of plants supposedly found on the Fey Island of High Brazil. SCP-001-06 is a bedroom in the western wing. It has been renovated and redecorated in the style of traditional Middle Eastern homes. Tapestries, artifacts, and knickknacks line the walls and shelves. A hookah sits on the low table. Quilts and Afghan rugs cover the floor and bed. Touching any of these decorations results in the hookah producing a light smoke. When inhaled, the subject will experience a strong vision. SCP-001-07 is a wooden gazebo in the gardens behind the eastern wing, painted white. It contains an arbor, which is grown over with ivy and roses. Upon stepping through the arbor, the subject will be temporarily transported to one of two extra-dimensional locations. While the subject is free to walk around, no actions taken will affect anything, and no one will acknowledge their presence. SCP-001-08 is a large non-functional machine in the basement of Site-01. The express purpose of SCP-001-08 is unknown, but, by 058 test description, is a time machine. It has sustained heavy damage through unknown means, resulting in a number of exterior scratches and scorch marks, as well as burns and broken machinery on the inside. The interior is a small space, 2 meters square, with a seat and controls for the machine. One corner has been cleared of rubble and contains a small shrine with mundane memorabilia. SCP-001-09 is a medicine cabinet in the bathroom of a private bedroom in the eastern wing. The cabinet contains an array of medicines and narcotics, all contained in unlabeled amber glass pill bottles. Ingesting these medicines will result in variable but consistently positive health effects on the user, with no interim until it takes effect. Use allows suppression of medical conditions considered debilitating by even modern science. SCP-001-10 is a large dog bed inside SCP-001-03. It is pushed against the northern wall and covered in dust. A photo of a golden retriever is pinned to the wall behind it. A number of items sit in the dog bed, including a chew toy.
Build a delicious Snyder's of Hanover pretzel cabinet.
Leash, and beaker. Upon touching any of these items, the subject will find themselves standing on the southern shore of the pond on the Site-01 grounds. SCP-001-11 is a small armory in the basement of Site-01. A variety of firearms and traditional weapons are arranged on the walls, along with appropriate ammunition. Touching any of the weapons will display a particular scar on the subject's body, generally from a minor wound along the extrema, but occasionally from a significant torso wound. The scar disappears after letting go of the weapon. SCP-001-12 is a bar carton and auxiliary office in Site-01. It is set with a large variety of liquor and alcohol, ranging from common beers to expensive scotch. The bottles never run out. However, upon pouring any into a glass, the drink will transmute into another liquid, generally non-potable or toxic. Noir box proposal. SCP-001 are the animate, deceased cadavers of a human. All SCP-001 instances are superficially undergoing advanced putrefaction. No loss of mass has been observed for any SCP-001 instances, nor has shed mass built up within the containment chamber. SCP-001 instances roam their containment chamber in a manner mimicking the behaviors of a standard, living human. SCP-001 instances interact with their environment anachronistically. They are capable of passing through any region of space that has, is, or will be unoccupied, regardless of whether or not the space is currently occupied. This property effectively enables SCP-001 instances to pass through any solid matter they predate or outlast. SCP-001 instances constantly and erratically duplicate themselves, typically when performing tasks with multiple possible outcomes. In such cases, a new SCP-001 instance will manifest for each outcome. SCP-001 instances are also capable of recombining and will do so when 2 or more instances perform identical actions. The anomalous properties of SCP-001 manifested when the individual was assassinated by an unidentified military group shortly prior to the formation of the Foundation. The founding High Command was successful in containing SCP-001 within its childhood bedroom before the anomaly replicated, enabling successful containment. SCP-001 is a human who exhibits varying temporal properties. SCP-001 will only respond positively if referred to by Foundation personnel as the founder. If referred to by its SCP designation, SCP-001 will become irritated and will refuse to speak to offending personnel indefinitely. To date, SCP-001 has never forgotten an infringement. SCP-001 is immortal and does not age. Although SCP-001 can be physically damaged and will heal at an appropriate rate for a mundane human, its longevity enables it to recover from more severe injuries if given sufficient time to do so. SCP-001 is capable of accurately and precisely predicting future events. It is currently believed that SCP-001 is not inducing these events to occur. All events described by SCP-001 have, at the time of description, inevitably become impossible to avert or alter. SCP-001 supports the containment and analysis of anomalous phenomena, but insists that it must be released from containment or allowed to construct a device of unclear function. SCP-001 refuses to allow the mentioned device to be constructed by any other individuals. SCP-001 was initially contained by the Founding Overseer Council shortly following the establishment of the Foundation. SCP-001 is comprised of SCP-001-1, a human, and SCP-001-A, a mechanical device. SCP-001-A was constructed by SCP-001-1. SCP-001-1 is immortal and does not age. Although SCP-001-1 can be physically damaged and will heal at an appropriate rate for a mundane human, its longevity enables it to recover from more severe injuries if given sufficient time to do so. SCP-001-1 vocally supports the containment and analysis of anomalous phenomena, and is largely compliant in its own containment. SCP-001-A is capable of producing detailed predictions of all possible outcomes for an input event. As SCP-001-A also considers the impact its predictions will have on the outcome of the event, it is assured that at least one outcome produced by SCP-001-A will occur. Whenever SCP-001-1 and or SCP-001-A are involved with an event beyond exclusively providing predictions on its outcomes, SCP-001-A will typically produce a significant number of blatantly incorrect predictions based upon one of the following false factors. 1. That SCP-001-1 was allegedly assassinated by a military group prior to containment, and as a result, SCP-001-A was never constructed. 2. That, along with its standard anomalous properties, SCP-001-1 also exhibits SCP-001-A's anomalous properties, and that SCP-001-A was never constructed. I.H. Pickman's proposal. SCP-001 is an anomalous universal constant which has been dubbed by Sinclair, West, Pike, Bailey et al. As the law of narrative causality. SCP-001 provides irrefutable proof that the baseline universe is a fictional construct existing within one or more separate narratives. SCP-001 is an anomalous universal constant which has been dubbed by Sinclair, West, Pike, Bailey et al. As the law of narrative causality. SCP-001 provides concrete proof that the baseline universe is a fictional construct existing within one or more separate narratives. SCP-001 is observable through use of narrative exploitation techniques. Examples include use of the phrase, "What could possibly go wrong? At least it's not raining," and pointing out an inconsistency in a given situation, an action which has been termed lampshade hanging. Doing so will invoke an alteration in SCP-001, dubbed SCP-001-A. SCP-001-A instances take several forms, and usually are of a nature that would typically be conducive to telling a compelling narrative from an outsider's perspective. SCP-001-A instances are not necessarily anomalous in nature, but do account for pockets of unreality that have been observed within the last 20 years. Examples of commonly observed SCP-001-A instances include meeting with a former romantic partner upon a return home and rekindling a relationship, whether altering in such a way that it creates opportunities for schadenfreude. Keter-class SCP suddenly becoming far easier to contain in the aftermath of a breach. The invocation of Murphy's law resulting in disastrous, but distantly comedic, events. SCP-001 is a sentient, possibly sapient, universal constant first discovered by Foundation archivist Isaiah Howard Pickman, 1979 to 2017, and first described by Pike, West, Bailey, Sinclair et al. In 2018. SCP-001 manifests itself as a force described as narrative causality, wherein patterns observed in nature, history, technology, and anomalous phenomena and items conform to patterns observed in fictional narratives. This, combined with phenomena reported in S. Andrew Swan's SCP-001 proposal, has definitively proved that the baseline universe is at least partly fictional. SCP-001-A refers to narrative exploitation techniques that can be used to manipulate SCP-001, and conceivably any other narrative construct. SCP-001-A techniques include invoking an ironic reaction by stating a phrase such as "What could possibly go wrong?", creating a solution to a problem by uttering a phrase such as "We're missing something, but what?", or by several people turning to look at a single individual who they believe is capable of solving this problem, preventing disasters via awareness of the presence of certain phrases in conversation or narrative patterns, minor probability manipulation using mass encouragement or a belief. SCP-001-A techniques are not infallible. SCP-001 seems to be able to choose which techniques are capable of working at a given time. SCP-001-X refers to malignant pieces of narrative causality, either manifesting naturally as a result of an unsatisfying narrative event or created by excessive use of SCP-001-A. SCP-001-X instances are detrimental to the narrative around it, and have the potential to create massive flaws in reality that cause mass confusion, the manifestation of powerful and nonsensical entities and abilities, and an overall degradation in the surrounding consensus reality. SCP-001-X can be counteracted by use of a specific SCP-001-A technique, SCP-001 Pickman Beta. SCP-001 Pickman Beta is a procedure which involves the following steps. Location. Use of a Pickman-Sinclair narrative fluctuation detector to locate a pocket of SCP-001-X isolation. Creating an area of stable SCP-001 around the SCP-001-X instance through use of narrative manipulation techniques such as gathering a large crowd of people to observe the process being undertaken. Ridicule. The pocket of SCP-001-X is ridiculed by vocalizing observations regarding the nonsensical nature of how it manifested, and how SCP-001 should have occurred in absence of the SCP-001-X instance. It has been observed that ridiculing SCP-001-X instances at higher volumes is more effective. Neutralization. After approximately 5 minutes, smaller SCP-001-X instances can be neutralized. Larger SCP-001-X instances can take up to half an hour or longer to completely render inert. Neutralization of SCP-001-X instances causes a pain response in SCP-001. This discovery has led to the conclusion that SCP-001 possesses some degree of sentience. Not Bell's proposal. SCP-001 is an ongoing ZK-class reality failure scenario. SCP-001 is prevented from happening through several procedures manipulating its sub-anomalies. The only known observable symptom of SCP-001 is the sky becoming a different color. It is believed that, if SCP-001 were to progress to the point where other symptoms began to occur, it would become irreversible. SCP-001-1 is a levitating object contained within Point Alpha, a cave chamber 5 kilometers south of the ruins of Babylon. SCP-001-1 visually resembles a perfectly smooth sphere with a texture similar to blurred television static. Measurement instruments indicate SCP-001-1 is currently meters in diameter. Solids and liquids that pass within the bounds of SCP-001-1 are replaced entirely with argon gas, giving the illusion of disappearing. SCP-001-2 is an entity that is capable of being seen within Point Alpha. SCP-001-2's manifestations are random. Witnesses report seeing SCP-001-2 past the walls of the cave. From descriptions of eyewitnesses, SCP-001-2 is humanoid in shape and large in stature, and is only visible when looking through SCP-001-1. Descriptions of SCP-001-2 vary from person to person. Common features include an emaciated figure, long limbs, and prominent facial features. SCP-001-2 takes the position of lying against the wall. It is most often seen with a neutral expression. However, the expression occasionally changes to discomfort or bliss. It has been determined from historical precedent that entertaining SCP-001-2 through SCP-001-1 will prevent SCP-001. WMDD's proposal. SCP-001, also known as Project Palisade, is a method of protecting reality from ongoing existential threats. Personnel create mirror timelines, alter them to discover methods of defeating threats, and ultimately divert the largest threats to destroy these mirror timelines instead of mainline reality. Every other timeline in which the Foundation exists was created by Project Palisade. Pixel's proposal. SCP-001 is the phenomenon that causes living organisms to cease functioning over time or from the operation of extrinsic forces, leading to the death of the organism. The cause of this eventuality is incompletely understood, but cannot be other than anomalous. RED is Palad.aic, an experimental artificial intelligence construct developed by Totley Soft. Initially, RED's purpose was to produce AI-generated artwork through the use of an anomalous programming language. Though RED was slated for a January 2023 release, the crowdfunding campaign was pulled without warning or explanation in November 2022. 2 hours after the cancellation, Site 501 received a 50 TB hard drive in the mail. The return address corresponded to SCP-2803-A's location. Enclosed with the hard drive was a brief letter from SCP-2803-A requesting that the Foundation temporarily take care of SCP-2803-A's daughter to assist with perceived behavioral issues. RED was discovered on the hard drive, and primary containment was established thereafter. RED interacts with human subjects through a video interface. Through many interactions with Foundation personnel, the following information has been gleaned. RED answers to both her SCP designation and palette. She uses feminine pronouns. She takes the appearance of a cartoon fairy with a paintbrush for a left hand. She has given palette D. Striver Gok as her full legal name. She demonstrates an unusually high level of sapience for an AI construct. Despite her primary function, Red expresses extreme reluctance to produce artwork, often claiming that she needs more inspiration. She speaks with a level of spelling and grammar uncharacteristically correct for a tautly soft product. She regards SCP-2803-A as an overbearing father figure. Most prominent, however, is the fact that Red claims to be the #1 fan of the human race. She is obsessed with human culture and history, often referring to humans affectionately as meat puppies and opposable thumb bois. As a result, she is cooperative and friendly with Foundation personnel, if obsessively so. This interest in humanity has also led to a greatly decreased interest in her primary function, save for producing fan art of her fictitious human OCs, such as Gilliam Shrivelsworth, the 573rd President of the United States. Dr. Eads' proposal. SCP-001 is the absence of the O5 Council. In spite of all historical evidence detailing the activities of the O5 Council, the identities and histories of its members, and the existence of complex support structures directly and indirectly attached to the object, the O5 Council does not definitively exist. All contemporary records relating to the O5 Council, other than those contained in this file, are believed to be either fabricated by personnel under the influence of, or directly manifested by, SCP-001 itself. All data related to the orchestration of these events has been expunged in accordance with the containment procedures. Dr. Samirian's proposal. SCP-001 is a point in space approximately 157 parsecs from Earth that, when visually observed, causes a viewer emotional distress. This distress manifests as a general and non-specific anxiety. The anxiety itself, while treatable, is long-lasting and unconnected to repeat observations of SCP-001. SCP-001 is remarkable in that it appears to be nearly equidistant to the neutron stars 81 Galatine and Secus Epsilon. These neutron stars appear to have formed simultaneously around 1 to 2 million years ago. Study of these neutron stars is the source of most security breaches related to SCP-001's existence. Exploration of SCP-001 and surrounding stellar systems by the SCP-V Tolkien and SCP-V Vonnegut, whose original missions were to run from 2063 to 2068, have led to a better understanding of the anomaly. Each of the surrounding stars appear to have at one time supported life-bearing planets and interplanetary civilizations. The minor anomalous effects related to SCP-001 appear to be amplified as distance between the observer and the anomaly decreases. What effects, if any, SCP-001 may have had on inhabited planets in orbit of the neighboring neutron stars is currently being investigated. Plague's proposal. SCP-001 denotes a pervasive anomalous phenomenon affecting the entirety of the SCP Foundation, manifesting as the failure to contain and/or maintain the containment of anomalous objects, entities, and phenomena. SCP-001 is most commonly observed during the investigatory period of anomalies. A plurality of Foundation investigations conclude with the anomaly in some form of containment. SCP-001 causes the leap from the researching/testing phase of an investigation to the containment phase to be entirely infeasible. This is typically caused by the manifestation of isolated, irregular, and seemingly aimless events that appear to exist solely to prevent the Foundation from achieving containment. The existence of SCP-001 is based on the logic that the Foundation has access to theoretically infinite manpower, expertise in all subjects anomalous and mundane, powerful reality warping capabilities, the ability to translocate through the space-time continuum, and access to all anomalous and mundane resources. Despite these fundamental elements of the Foundation's operations, containment failures still occur at a notably high rate. While SCP-001 is a theoretical phenomenon, the Foundation experiences a containment failure rate of approximately 5.2%, frequently due to circumstances outside of the Foundation's control. When that collection of incidents is eliminated, containment failures occur at a rate of 4.3%, leaving only SCP-001 as the appropriate explanation for the discrepancy. Pickman Blank proposal. SCP-001 is a mimetic complex known internally as the frontispiece residing in the human collective consciousness. It exerts an anomalous force upon all initialisms containing the Latin letter sequence SCP. Without anti-ME-001 inoculation, considerable mimetic conditioning or thaumaturgic kinetic capabilities, no human being encountering such initialisms is capable of mentally connecting them, or whatever objects, personages, or organizations they are applied to, with the SCP Foundation. The frontispiece therefore allows the Foundation to operate public-facing front organizations which are simultaneously identifiable at a glance to agents in the field, and veiled from hostile operatives or the general populace. For example, all Snooze and Cruise Palace franchise locations also operate as Foundation safe houses, while Sawyer's Cheesy Pretzels eateries act as intelligence gathering hubs and launching points for mobile task force operations. SCP-001-1 is the sigil, a non-linguistic visual trigger mimicking the SCP-001 effect. Anti-ME-001 is a thaumaturgically produced inoculant for SCP-001, supplied to all Foundation personnel on a regular schedule. The frontispiece possesses a singular fault which to date remains unexplained by anomalous science. There is a non-zero chance that it will entirely fail to operate on individuals who frequently encounter anomalous phenomena, or who were exposed to it during their youth. Such individuals inevitably come to recognize the connection between Foundation front organizations and, eventually, the Foundation itself. This most commonly occurs with agents belonging to groups of interest, hostile or not. It has been hypothesized that exposure to a presently unquantified element common to all anomalous phenomena carries an inoculant effect similar to that of Anti-ME-001. SCP-001 was intentionally created and implemented by the Foundation in 1969, at the height of the Panopticon crisis. Dr. Mackenzie's proposal. SCP-001 is a set of 2 objects and 33 documents belonging to alias the Administrator, SCP-001-01 and SCP-001-02 are, respectively. SCP-001-03 through SCP-001-35 are a mixed set of handwritten and printed documents. They are normal in all respects except that they do not show signs of aging or fading in any way, and dating of the paper on which they are comprised of has shown inconsistent results. The contents of these documents, as detailed below, consist of as these objects form the impetus for the creation of the SCP Foundation, and all of its constituent activities and processes. As such, this information is only to be disseminated by direct order of O5 Command as per Protocol 0. Null sum proposal. SCP-001 is a complex mathematical formula that uses the value of multiple physical and mathematical constants in conjunction with SCP-001-1 to calculate the value of SCP-001-2, an irrational number. SCP-001-1 is a semi-hazardous element in SCP-001 which, in all versions of SCP-001 known to the Foundation, is already populated with a numerical value or formula that does not correspond to a physical or mathematical constant. The position of SCP-001-1, as well as its predefined value, is unknown. Whenever the value of SCP-001-2 is calculated, baseline reality is retroactively altered such that the value of SCP-001-1 is, and always has been, true. The value of SCP-001-2 is unchanged. The value of all other mathematical and physical constants used in SCP-001 are altered to compensate for the above. This property only manifests if the only altered value is SCP-001-1. It is theorized that a successful activation of SCP-001 could be identified when an improbably large number of errors become apparent after SCP-001-2 is calculated, with the errors corresponding to the constant's former values. SCP-001, and all information regarding it, was acquired by the informant Ulysses from GOI 4379, a previously unidentified religious faction that is attempting to calculate an SCP-001-1 value which will result in the complete retroactive erasure of everything within SCP-001's range of influence. That's the end of this video. There's still more 001 proposals out there, so see you in part 2. Bye. Item number, YOS 4857. Object class, Keter. Containment procedures. YOS 4857 is to be contained in a 3-meter cubed cell no less than 4 meters thick. Any hostile action coming from YOS 4857 must be stunned. No one is to make contact with YOS 4857 by any means necessary. If this happens, YOS 4857 must be stunned by firearm immediately. At this time, there is no known way of terminating YOS 4857. Description. YOS 4857 is a wild turkey that has the ability to resist any attempt of attacks and cannot be killed in any known way. The specimen is hostile to any organisms that attempt to kill it, and will do whatever it can to kill the organism. It is strong enough to destroy any hard surfaces. YOS 4857 has also been able to keep its flesh at bay, and prevents any organism from cutting into it. Its most preferred prey is humans. As individuals attempt to kill the bird to serve it for Thanksgiving, it will use any part of its body to kill the human as much as it can. Addendum 4857-1. YOS 4857 came to the Foundation's attention when it killed a single specimen of horned rattlesnake. It was then captured later on and sent to Site 13. Item number, YOS 1497. Object class, Keter. Containment procedures. YOS 1497 is to be stored within a case accompanied by aluminum foil wrapper. Its effects must be paused when out of sight. No one is to make contact with YOS 1497 by any means necessary. If a subject makes physical contact with YOS 1497, they must be restrained and removed from the chamber. Personnel must be 10 miles away from YOS 1497's containment area. If a subject is inflicted with the effects of YOS 1497, they must be treated with Class C amnestics. If YOS 1497 is out of its cell, it must be tracked and sent back. Description. YOS 1497 is a row of cooked ham, approximately 18 slices released. Researchers believe that it existed about 17 years ago since November 12, 19. It seems to have a very manipulative effect on subjects who come near it. When the subject is within 2 to 4 meters of YOS 1497, they will get a sudden urge to eat it whole, and will show signs of saliva coming out of their mouths. When the subject is not in direct contact with YOS 1497, they will still attempt to do whatever they can to get the item and eat it. They will start to track it by smelling it. Subjects will react violently when their needs are not met with the item. Addendum 1497-1. After its containment in 1935, D-7402 was sent to the chamber of the item. Subject was ordered to eat the item to test its minimum effects. After he took a little bite, he instantly reacted to the taste and immediately started to take multiple bites at it. Subject was quickly removed from the cell. As of 1942, personnel within 10 miles of its area are infected with its properties. All infected members had to be terminated prior to the incident. Addendum 1497-2. On May 23rd, a researcher recorded an audio log of him wanting to eat the item YOS 1497. It was retrieved to Site 17 for observation.
Hi, have you seen my good food? I'm starving over here. I haven't experienced anything that is that delicious, so I want more of this loving stuff. I swear if I don't get my hands on that ham, I'ma flip out. So whoever finds the delicious ham, please bring it to me.
Item number. YOS 1736. Object class. Euclid. Containment procedures. YOS 1730 SIXS chamber is to be entered twice a week. Any signs of YOS 1736 missing must be detected and sent back to the chamber. Personnel requested to encounter YOS 1736 must give it some thankful quotes to prevent its disappearance from occurring. Personnel must not attempt to eat YOS 1736 by any means necessary, and signs of a chunk of YOS 1730 SIXS structure bitten off by a subject must be found and terminated immediately. If the entire structure of YOS 1736 is completely devoured, subjects affected by it must be given antibiotics to prevent the infection process from finishing. The whiteboard must be facing YOS 1736 at all times as requested by Dr. Description. YOS 1736 is a single Thanksgiving turkey served onto a plastic white plate accompanied by various consumable items. It has been known that it has existed after the completion of the first day of Thanksgiving. Despite many years passing, YOS 1736 never shows signs of decomposition in other foods, as it still remains fresh. YOS 1736 has the ability of containing its heat when it has been cooked in an oven, and resists any other temperatures from affecting it. It seems to have a fail effect when eaten. If a subject attempts to consume YOS 1736 entirely, they will suffer from a fail infection that lasts for 3 to 4 days. After that time, their body will alter into a new instance of YOS 1736 and take on the same abilities as the previous one. YOS 1736 is also known to transport itself to random parts of multiple buildings if not being thanked by an individual. If a subject is thankful to the specimen, it will not transport somewhere for a minimum of 5 to 6 hours. Addendum 1736-1. After its containment on the 15th of June, 18, it was sent to Site 09 to be tested. D6069 was sent to its chamber to take a bite of the item. D6069 then begins to experience the side effects from the food, though this proved to not be fatal. Addendum 1736-2. D2230 was sent to YOS 1730 SIXS chamber to devour the whole item. After this, he began to experience side effects from the item, and turned into a second instance of YOS 1736. Addendum 1736-3. YOS 1736 was reported missing from its cell, and was tracked down by MTF Unit 28. It was in a young woman's home sitting in the kitchen counter, and was sent back to the facility. Addendum 1736-4. YOS 1736 was seen with a sticky note pasted on its structure. It read, "If you don't want this item to disappear, you have to be thankful to it." So D7663 was sent to its cell to be thankful to it, and it didn't transport for a couple hours. Addendum 1736-5. Dr. was inside the cell bringing a whiteboard inside, and make sure to always be facing YOS 1736. He then wrote a note to face the item. It says,
I am thankful for this delicious fresh turkey. Along with other foods, I can simply look at it all day if I want to. I wouldn't try to eat it as I'm never hungry, but thanks for this delicious food.
Hello again guys, welcome back to the descriptions of SCP series. Today we will continue the 001 proposals, and it will be quite short because there is less proposals to be covered right now, so let's begin. Rounder House's Jade Proposal. SCP-001 refers to the ruins of Manjul, an ancient pre-First Occult War city-state located approximately 734 kilometers off the southern tip of the Indian subcontinent. Evidence suggests that Manjula was constructed and located at or above sea level. How it came to rest at its current position 3.6 kilometers underwater is unknown. SCP-001 was discovered by the Foundation on August 24, 2002. At first, it was believed to be a mundane archaeological ruin, and its location was recorded to disseminate to the global archaeological community in the near future. However, closer inspection revealed that the city was remarkably preserved and structurally near pristine, despite having spent over 3 millennia underwater. Carbon dating placed the interior ruins to 2400 BCE. Further investigation by Coyote divers unearthed the full extent of of SCP-001, initially thought to be the ruins of a small Bronze Age settlement. The full city is comprised of several hundred buildings, most buried under large amounts of silt and sand but structurally intact. In addition, divers found considerable evidence that Manjul was the seat of a Bronze Age advanced human civilization that made extensive use of thaumaturgy and biomancy, known to the Foundation as the Davik Covenant. A report was submitted to OFCOM, and additional personnel were dispatched to confirm that SCP-001 is the location of the Davik city of Manjul, as mentioned in the Aegean tablets and corroborated by SCP-1867 and SCP-001 Gold. Nagiros' proposal. SCP-001 is a set of situational factors capable of producing terror. Several conditions must be met to manifest SCP-001. The Foundation must be at the zenith of its power. The rights of reality itself must enter their hands, and no probability can remain that they will be defeated. The accruement of these rights must contort the universe towards a grand final action. Causality, reality, and temporality must bend to the creation of a lasting paradise according to the Foundation's will. An anomalous event must manifest. SCP-001, therefore, is a psychological reaction, anomalous in its ability to affect the present-day Foundation. It is an affliction of the consciousness which produces terror, chiefly the terror that Astaroth will be obstructed, and made horrible by the reality that it has. The current bearer of SCP-001 is a primordial enemy of the Foundation, the Serpent, founder of the Wanderer's Library, and suspected as a physical embodiment of knowledge, comprehensibility, understanding, perception, rebellion, the casting off of injustice, clarity, purpose, and novelty. Initial containment procedures mirrored that of the first divine figure, i.e. containing it within the library. However, by unknown means, it has awoken. Gage Mictorice's proposal. It was the unanimous opinion of SDE-COW and the O5 Council on May 3, 2000, that any statement of fact made on this specific SCP Foundation database page /procedures/001/SCP-001.ftml becomes objectively true. The prior unanimous opinion of SDE-COW and the O5 Council holds that modifications to this page have vast, and potentially infinite, category all room reality modification consequences. The prior unanimous opinion of SDE-COW and the O5 Council held that no further testing on these effects is to occur due to the potential XK, CK, LK, VK, ZK, K-class scenarios believed to be highly probable with said testing. It was the unanimous opinion of SDE-COW that other pages within the /procedures/001/ portion of the Foundation database have no anomalous effects, and that prior versions of the SCP-001 database leading to the believed discovery of SCP-001's effects and the possible creation of entity formula are to be stored as subpages in this directory for reference. It was the unanimous opinion of SDE-COW that all blank spots on the Foundation database shall be checked for further category all room reality modification anomalies, and that only a series of 1,000 thoroughly checked database spots shall be available to Foundation personnel for the designation of new special containment procedures at any given time. McDoctorate's proposal. SCP-001 is a theoretical entity defined as the potential cause for another anomalous phenomenon. SCP-001-1. SCP-001-1 is the collective designation for a set of documents that were inexplicably uploaded to the SCP-001 file location on January 1, 1970. While SCP-001-1 suggests the existence of SCP-001, their legitimacy is unknown, and is ultimately of no significance. Any effects SCP-001 is implied to have caused have been seemingly reverted, and any additional information concerning SCP-001 is irrelevant. SCP-001-1 resemble Foundation documents, each one documenting a different iteration of SCP-001. At the same time that SCP-001-1 were uploaded, Dear Jones became aware of the necessary measures for SCP-001's containment and subsequently authored this document. For details regarding SCP-001-1, contact TRISA Director Maria Jones. Harmony's proposal 2. SCP-001 is the projectile which killed U.S. President John F. Kennedy, fired by an unidentifiable number of assailants acting simultaneously as part of one or more conspiracies. Upon impact, human perception began falling out of sync with objective reality at an individual level. The events surrounding SCP-001's trajectory are designated as Incident 001 Gamma. Although the divergent standards of objectivity are largely compatible enough to allow for human society to function, that does not mean they are not a threat to the long-term viability of human civilization and intelligent life as a whole. It is possible that the current formation of reality exists as a result of a VK-class reality restructuring scenario. Individuals with living memory of Incident 001 Gamma are the last population of humanity able to agree on any shared concept of truth, their shared experience in seeing or hearing about Incident 001 Gamma. The percentage of still living eyewitnesses negatively correlates to the density of unnatural potential energy manifesting in the observable universe as an anomalous phenomenon. Their collective memory provides a consistent base of widely, but not universally, held truths. This in turn stabilizes the increasingly individualized SCP-001 perspectives, as it is the last living shared certain truth among Earth's population. Witnesses who do not otherwise provide valued testimony and who have robust physiques may volunteer for experimental and indefinite life-extending experiments, in order to preserve the stabilizing effect their memory provides for as long as the human body can allow. A statistically significant minority of witness testimony report variations on so-called badge man, even taking into account inflation caused by civilians seeing unfamiliar Secret Service and other security forces. The only conclusively proven participants in Incident 001 Gamma are John Kennedy and Lee Oswald, although they did not have any prior contact. Other individuals have been named or described often enough to be viewed as persons of interest. Ralliston's proposal. SCP-001 refers to three interrelated phenomena, SCP-001-A, SCP-001-B, and SCP-001-C. SCP-001-A is an industrial megastructure located 75 kilometers north of Krakow, Poland, founded and overseen by James Rollander, acting as the main provider of a plethora of services to the entire country and most of the continent. It currently houses approximately 30,000 laborers working and living within its confines. SCP-001-B is a room located within SCP-001-A, which can only be found once an individual expresses the wish to find it, be it willingly or subconsciously. So far, attempts to mark it in relation to any other rooms or landmarks within the structure have been unsuccessful. Inevitably, all individuals coming into contact with it will describe drastically different details of the place and the path which led them to it. SCP-001-C is an entity located within SCP-001-B, fed by human sacrifices delivered to it by POI-001-A. Further details regarding its nature are presently unavailable. Rounderhouse's gold proposal. SCP-001 is an extra-dimensional bubble of self-contained reality, located in the southern Arabian desert, inaccessible to individuals that do not have prior knowledge of SCP-001's location. Traveling through the desert with only the intention of reaching SCP-001 is not sufficient. Express and exact knowledge of its geographical position is required. Notably, individuals with some sort of artificial implant, ranging from surgical screws and plates to complex prosthetics, appear to have a higher chance of success in locating and entering the anomaly. The purpose and range of this is unclear, but personnel with implants successfully entered encountered SCP-001 in 88% of tests, compared to standard personnel's 62%. SCP-001 contains an ancient metropolis partially buried in the sand. Maps and initial sonar testing indicate approximately 2/3 of the city are above ground and largely intact, while the subterranean portion has degraded heavily and is no longer structurally sound. The above-ground portion is made up of skyscrapers and buildings up to half a kilometer high using modern design techniques far beyond those available at the time of construction, which has been carbon dated to approximately 2400 BCE. The buildings are fully set and furnished, and appear to have served residential, commercial, bureaucratic, and various other uses. The largest and most intricate of these buildings is a large temple structure in the center of the city that extends through all thirds. There are no living organisms inside the city. The buildings also contain artistic works and large bas-reliefs depicting a variety of scenes ranging from apparently religious stories to historical events. These contain writing in an unknown language containing elements of Old Arabic. Most of these are concentrated in the temple at the heart of SCP-001. The subterranean floors are dominated by extensive, complex machinery. These range from antiquated clockwork systems to vacuum tubes to power generators extremely similar to modern nuclear reactors. However, all machinery is non-functional and appears to be in a state of advanced disrepair. SCP-001-A is a collective designation for all automata found within the city, chief among which is SCP-001-A1. SCP-001-A1 has identified the city as being the origin for the Quranic myth of Iram of the Pillars, but has clarified that its proper name is Amani Ram. D. Ulysses Fool's proposal. SCP-001 is an experimental vehicle created by Prometheus Labs, who designated it Project Backaway. Constructed out of a modified shipping container, SCP-001 is 1359 meters long, 2.44 meters wide, and 2.9 meters high. Its exterior has been reinforced with an unknown substance that, to date, has completely withstood all attempts to cut through. Interior access can be achieved through a bulkhead at one end. The bulkhead can only be opened from within. It leads to the cockpit of SCP-001. This comprises a third of the interior. The cockpit area is comprised of a single chair with 6 layers of seatbelts, several control consoles, monitors, and 2 bins for storage. The remaining 2/3 contain the internal workings of SCP-001. Maintenance is conducted via one of the consoles. There is no known intentionally designed means of manually repairing SCP-001, as the remainder of the interior is completely sealed off. Though on-site documentation was partially destroyed at the time of its discovery, enough was recovered to determine that SCP-001 is the prototype of a time machine. The time travel function requires an external energy source that does not currently exist in our world. Secondary operations are carried out through an unknown, presumably anomalous power source. Currently, the only operable console functions of SCP-001 are internal lighting, cockpit air conditioning, maintenance, movement, AM/FM radio, a word processor, Spider Solitaire, and the hunt for Mr. Twinkie. The page is outdated. SCP-UBU refers to a violent and extremely hostile humanoid entity that appeared in Tungatsiak, Greenland, on May 12, 2588. The sudden materialization of SCP-UBU coincides with an ongoing Omega-Ka-class augmented end-of-death scenario. This was believed to be a separate phenomenon until the stream of regenerative lambda waves was triangulated to SCP-UBU. This event also coincided with the following phenomena: a mass loss of function for all SCP-2578-D, SCP-3319, and other objects operated by the Three Moons Initiative. The cessation of all further SCP-2922 communications. The severance of the extra-dimensional space known as the Wanderer's Library from Earth. A representative of the Serpent's Hand cited irreconcilable security concerns in the decision. Several incidents in which a representative of Marshall, Carter, and Dark, having gained access to the O5 Council's personal contact information through unknown means, desperately tried to sell the Foundation large amounts of the company's stock. SCP-4000 losing all anomalous properties. A small parchment note reading "Good luck" was found in the entryway. SCP-3008 being anomalously bought out by an unknown proprietor and slowly converted into a shelter. In addition to anomalously high physical strength and speed, SCP-UBU has reality-bending capabilities to an unknown extent, usually triggered by screaming or slapping. Defensively, it has remained unscathed from the following damage sources: blunt force trauma, sustained heavy caliber machine gun fire, temperatures of 1600 Kelvin, sustained artillery fire, a direct energy discharge from SCP-B7B8. Simultaneous direct nuclear strikes. The only lasting damage to SCP-UBU occurred on August 14, 2784, when the entity chewed off its left thumb out of apparent curiosity. This resulted in SCP-UBU emitting a single scream that lasted 7 days, after which it went into a month-long fit of crying and sobbing. The thumb completely regenerated after 30 years and 14 days. And that's all the proposals for 001. This took forever to complete, but next time will be anomalies from Series 1 to 8. So without further speaking, see you soon.
Buyer delivery.
Enjoy low in-store prices.
I got it. Right on time.
Hi, happy holidays.
With Meyer Home Delivery.
Could you come to a chimney next time?
Deals so good, they come right to you.
Welcome back to Descriptions of SCPs. Today we will go through SCP-002 to SCP-099. Without further ado, let's begin. SCP-002. SCP-002 resembles a tumorous, fleshy growth with a volume of roughly 60 cubic meters. An iron valve hatch on one side leads to its interior, which appears to be a standard lower-end apartment of modest size. One wall of the room possesses a single window, though no such opening is visible from the exterior. The room contains furniture which, upon close examination, appears to be sculpted bone, woven hair, and various other biological substances produced by the human body. All matter tested thus far show independent or fragmented DNA sequences for each object in the room. SCP-003. SCP-003 consists of 2 related components of separate origin, referred to as SCP-031 and SCP-032. SCP-031 appears to be composed of chitin, hair, and nails of unknown biology, arranged in a configuration similar to that of a computer motherboard. Testing reveals SCP-031 to predate earliest known circuit boards by a factor of thousands of years. SCP-031 is considered sentient but not actively dangerous except under certain conditions. SCP-031 was found on a stone tablet, SCP-032, on which it currently resides. The runes on SCP-032 are not part of any known language, and emit pale, flickering light patterns. SCP-032 is controlled by an internal computer, the contents of which are mostly inaccessible without risk of damaging SCP-032. SCP-032 is capable of controlled emissions of radiation, including heat, light, and anomalous radiation types. SCP-032 contains an internal power source of an anomalous nature, which appears to have been losing power since several centuries before discovery. It is considered probable that SCP-032 SCP-002 was created for the purpose of containing SCP-003-1. Partially interpreted data recovered from SCP-003 2nd may refer to a past and or potential future LK-class restructuring event caused by SCP-003-1. SCP-003 was located by remote viewing team SRV-04 Beta. It appears possible that SRV-04 Beta was deliberately contacted by SCP-032. Other organizations have also been alerted to SCP-003's existence, possibly by similar means. Despite this activity, SCP-032 does not appear to be sentient, based on its lack of reaction to MO3 Gloria analysis and procedures. When SCP-003 drops below the temperature of 35 degrees Celsius, both components react. First, SCP-003-1 enters a growth state characterized by an exponential increase in mass. This growth state consists of two stages. In both stages, SCP-003-1 partially fuels its growth by converting matter around it, starting with any surrounding inorganic material, including atmospheric elements, then non-living organic material, including cells of dead skin, hair, chitin, enamel, keratin, and other biological materials. The first stage is always the same. SCP-003-1 will first increase its mass, then take a form similar in shape to an ophiroid of 15 meters in diameter. It will form sensory organs that appear to scan its surrounding environment, and will partially convert the area around it to an unidentified anomalous substance. The second stage describes a growth alteration which occurs when SCP-003 comes into contact with living organic material. SCP-003 appears to template itself off of the organic material, and will attempt communication with organisms that match its initial template or templates. In its second stage, SCP-003 first may pause, slow or change its growth, and will also convert inorganic and non-living organic elements into functionally similar structures while anomalously altering their physical makeup. While growth is consistent in the first stage, in the second stage SCP-003-1's growth rate is diminished by 20 to 90% so long as SCP-003-1 remains in contact with living organic material. The percentage is determined by the complexity of the organisms in contact with SCP-003-1. SCP-003-1 appears to devote a large amount of processing power to analysis of living organic material. During each of SCP-003-1's growth stages, SCP-032 releases bursts of radiation that temporarily inhibit SCP-003-1's growth, or reverse this growth when the temperature of SCP-003-1 rises above 100 degrees Celsius. Similar radiation emissions have been replicated or recorded via other anomalous means. SCP-003-1's biology has been the subject of extensive study. Significant elements have been identified similar to SCP-1512, and SCP-2756, the latter two of which have no further confirmed connection with SCP-003-1 and no known connection with each other, and none of which are fully understood. To date, no convincing analysis has been put forward which satisfactorily explains SCP-003-1's connection to these SCP objects or others, nor its connection to modern technology beyond appearance. SCP-004. SCP-004 consists of an old wooden barn door and a set of 12 rusted steel keys. The door itself is the entrance to an abandoned factory inn. SCP-005. In appearance, SCP-005 resembles an ornate key, displaying the characteristics of a typical mass-produced key used in the 1920s. The key was discovered when a civilian used it to infiltrate a high-security facility. SCP-005 seems to have the unique ability to open any and all forms of lock, be they mechanical or digital, with relative ease. The origin of this ability has yet to be determined. SCP-006. SCP-006 is a very small spring located 60 kilometers west of Astrakhan. Foundation Command was aware of its existence since the 19th century, but were unable to secure it until 1991 due to political reasons. On the spot of the spring, a chemical factory has been constructed as a disguise, with the majority of laborers under Foundation and or Russian control. The liquid emitted from the spring has been chemically identified as simple mineral water in 1902, but has the unusual property of health. Ingesting the liquid produces the following properties in human beings: the ability to regenerate DNA damaged by sufficient duplication, heightened excitement of cellular duplication, vastly improved abilities in the repair of damaged tissue, and a frightening increase in the effectiveness of the human immune system. Upon testing the liquid on animal subjects, hostile bacteria and viral agents were destroyed immediately. Many reptiles and birds were unaffected, while higher primates experienced the same benefits as humans. SCP-007. SCP-007 is located within a cavity in the abdomen of subject. Subject is a Caucasian male, physically approximately 25 years of age and 176 centimeters in height. Most of subject's abdomen is absent, though subject does not appear to suffer because of this. Instead of normal flesh, a sphere composed of soil and water is present, though it does not actually come into contact with subject's body at any point. The sphere appears to be, in most respects, a miniature near duplicate of the Earth, approximately 60 centimeters in diameter. Although continental alignment is not consistent with that of any alignment known in Earth's history, the sphere has its own weather patterns and negligible gravitational pull, in addition to microscopic organisms somewhat resembling those of modern-day Earth inhabiting it. 2 intelligent species have been observed, though contact and communication with either has yet to be made. Technology levels of observed species must be checked at least once a week and, as of, are approximately equal to that of 15th century Earth. Subject claims to be named, but no records of such a person can be found. Subject does not require food or water, and while he has been observed consuming both, what happens to such substances after being swallowed is unknown. Subject is intelligent and amiable, and regards the planet in his abdomen as a minor curiosity about his body. Subject seems to experience no stress about his unusual condition. When questioned about planet's origins, subject replied, "I just woke up one day, and there it was. I don't have any idea how it got there." Subject has provided a social security number and driver's license number and requested that they be checked against known records. When checked, it was discovered that neither had yet been allocated. Doctor has a weekly chess game with subject, during which subject's mental health is evaluated. Doctor reports that subject does not seem to mind the restricted living environment, and has yet to attempt to escape or show signs of violence or mental illness, though he has repeatedly requested a computer with an internet connection. It is recommended that this not be provided as it may be used to compromise security. SCP-008. SCP-008 is a complex prion, samples of which are stored in each of the known G2 sites. Research into SCP-008 is highly classified and primarily aimed at preventing research which may lead to the synthesis of SCP-008 in the distant future. Traits of the SCP-008 prion include 100% infectiousness, 100% lethality, transmission through exposed mucous membranes and all bodily fluids, not airborne or waterborne. Symptoms of infection with SCP-008 manifest no more than 3 hours after exposure, and include flu-like symptoms with high fever, plus severe dementia in later stages. Coma onset approximately 20 hours after first symptoms appear and 12 hours after noticeable dementia. Coma onset will be considered onset of death. A period of sporadic cellular necrosis occurs which comes to resemble gangrene. Surviving tissue assumes its original function and is highly resilient. Red blood cells greatly increase oxygen storage capacity, resulting in slower blood flow and increased muscle endurance and strength. Nervous and muscular systems are unaffected by total organ failure for several hours. Metabolism may decrease to extremely low levels, allowing subject to survive for over 10 years without nutrition. High blood viscosity results in negligible blood flow from gunshot, puncture, and slashing injuries. Conditioned behavior, motor controls, and instinctive behavioral mechanisms are damaged, and cognitive abilities are severely retarded and erratic. Animals experience excessive brain necrosis and are inactive. Subject can adapt to its damaged nervous systems but is limited to basic physical activities, including standing up, balancing on two legs, walking, biting, grabbing, and crawling. Subject will energetically move towards sights, sounds, and smells it associates with living humans. Subject will attempt to ingest living humans if physical contact is made. Neutralizing fully infected subjects requires significant cranial trauma. There is strong evidence to suggest SCP-008 itself did not form naturally on Earth, since variants of similar complexity would have displaced much of the ecosystem. In 1959, a short collaborative effort with the USSR to locate G2 sites and eliminate SCP-008 was negotiated following their discovery. The status of SCP-008 in Russian custody since collaboration ended is unknown. SCP-009. SCP-009 is approximately liters of a substance which superficially resembles distilled water, except with a distinct bright red hue. This red hue is discernible in all phases, and serves as the most expedient method of identifying contaminated matter before its anomalous properties manifest. In contrast to mundane water, SCP-009 assumes a liquid phase at temperatures between -100 degrees Celsius and 0 degrees Celsius, and a solid state above those temperatures. At temperatures below -100 degrees Celsius, SCP-009 vaporizes into a gaseous phase similar to steam. Examinations of the atomic structure of SCP-009 have proven conclusive. The substance appears to be identical to normal water molecules, with the exception of, in contrast to standard laws of enthalpy. Dr. Science. Resident expert on xenospatial physics suggests that SCP-009 may originate in a universe with alternate physical laws. The most hazardous property of SCP-009, however, is its ability to contaminate normal H2O. When in contact with any aqueous solution, SCP-009 will, through unknown mechanisms, transfer its anomalous properties to other objects and creatures. Testing has shown it capable of assimilating ice, steam, tea, fruit juice, seawater, blood, and the time it takes for this process to occur varies depending on temperature and the exact chemical composition of affected matter, and had been observed as taking between 3 minutes and hours. Experiments on D-class personnel have illustrated the process of conversion by the substance, which has been found to follow a consistent pattern. 1. Initial exposure. Subject is exposed to SCP-009, and it begins assimilating any moisture present on the exposed surface. Creatures in this stage do not commonly notice any unusual symptoms except for a slight warming sensation. 2. Surface conversion. Frost begins to form on the exposed area as the heat produced by the subject and SCP-009 itself raises its temperature above 0 degrees Celsius. This stage can take anywhere from 1 minute to hours, during which time subjects begin to feel crystals from the epidermis. 3. Deep tissue conversion. Exponential increase in temperature of SCP-009 causes runaway reaction throughout subject's body, resulting in actual blood loss is minimal due to ice crystals, allowing subjects to remain alive and conscious for up to hours. 4. Testing on D-class personnel was discontinued as of April 23, 2000.
This is why I switched to Shopify. I tried 3 other platforms prior to Shopify, and I remember my breaking point was when I would try to make one little change and my entire site would go down. What are you waiting for? Start your free trial with Shopify today.
SCP-010. SCP-010 consists of a series of 6 apparently identical cast iron collars with numbered metal tags and 1 remote control. The control is SCP-010-1. The collars are SCP-010-2 through 010-7. The collars contain intricate electronic components and are powered by small 100V batteries. These batteries are rechargeable. The remote is a heavy black box resembling an old-style handheld radio transmitter receiver with a primitive blue-white cathode ray screen and a series of more than 100 unlabeled buttons, as well as a frequency tuner. Through trial and error, the frequencies of all 6 currently found collars have been discovered. A label in Russian is stamped into the metal along with a logo consisting of workers building a pyramid. No official Russian corporation or government agency uses this logo or matches the words stamped into the metal. Placing the collar around the neck of a person and securing it allows one to control their every movement with the remote. It is also capable of producing an adrenal response and activating or deactivating the sympathetic nervous system. The most abnormal feature of the collars is the effect they have on the body morphology. They allow the user of the remote to reconfigure the shape of the victim to an extent that is apparently only limited by the knowledge of the programming language of the remote. SCP-011. SCP-011 is a Civil War memorial statue located in Woodstock, Vermont. The statue is the image of a young male soldier holding a musket at his side, and is carved out of granite quarried within the area. Occasionally, SCP-011 has been observed lifting its musket to the sky to fire at birds which attempt to land or defecate on it. Reports detail that its movements produce soft grinding sounds but do not cause it any structural failure. Oddly, the gunfire is very similar to that of a standard firearm, despite observations that the item only loads granite bullets and granite powder into the musket. In spite of its efforts, some fecal matter does manage to strike SCP-011, and it has reportedly become distressed when it has had a large amount of feces on it, on some rare occasions even firing at humans. SCP-012. SCP-012 was retrieved by archaeologist K.M. Sandoval during the excavation of a northern Italian tomb destroyed in a recent storm. The object, a piece of handwritten musical score entitled On Mount Golgotha, part of a larger set of sheet music, appears to be incomplete. The red-black ink, first thought to be some form of berry or natural dye ink, was later found to be human blood from multiple subjects. The first personnel to locate the sheet had 2 members descend into insanity, attempting to use their own blood to finish the composition, ultimately resulting in massive blood loss and internal trauma. Following initial investigations, multiple test subjects were allowed access to the score. In every case, the subjects mutilated themselves in order to use their own blood to finish the piece, resulting in subsequent symptoms of psychosis and massive trauma. Those subjects who managed to finish a section of the piece immediately committed suicide, declaring the piece to be impossible to complete. Attempts to perform the music have resulted in a disagreeable cacophony, with each instrumental part having no correlation or harmony with the other instruments. SCP-013. SCP-013 is the collective designation of 242 cigarettes which display similar anomalies. The most common external detail between instances is the presence of the words Blue Lady handwritten on each cigarette in blue ink. Subjects who consume the contents of SCP-013 through inhalation will begin to perceive themselves as a specific and identified woman. Subjects have described the woman to be aged between 25 and 35 years old, standing approximately 1.6 meters tall with an estimated weight of between 50 and 55 kilograms. Additional recurring details include cropped dark hair, blue eyes, and bright blue lipstick. Immediately after consuming an instance of SCP-013, subjects will gradually begin to perceive reflections of themselves as having the features of the woman, and will gradually perceive their bodies changing to reflect her appearance over the course of the following weeks. All changes are entirely mental. The subject's body does not change outwardly, only their perception of themselves. These alterations are permanent, and cannot be reversed. SCP-013 was discovered after the suicide of an Ian Miles, packed in a large cardboard crate in his apartment. A cursory search of the apartment uncovered several hundred sketches of a figure strongly resembling the one perceived while under 013's effect. Miles' body had been found sitting at a desk, dead of a massive overdose and draped over a handwritten note. During the investigation of Miles' apartment, one civilian investigator became affected by 013's effect. An embedded agent soon contacted the nearest site. The subject, the artifact, and related evidence were extracted and contained. Currently, 217 instances of SCP-013 cigarettes are contained at Biosite 66. 25 SCP-013 cigarettes are contained at Research Sector 09, pending future research into similar anomalous effects. SCP-014. SCP-014 is a Caucasian male, appearing to be approximately 30 years of age, with black hair, brown eyes, and a somewhat round face. Records indicate his name to be Robert Chetford, confined in 1915 to the Norwich Asylum in Connecticut for delusional insanity, claiming that he had been cursed to live forever, and was slowly turning into concrete in consequence. The asylum closed in 1937, and the patients were transferred to various other facilities. SCP-014 came to Foundation attention in 19. From rumors of a patient who seemed to be entirely immobile and showed no signs of aging. Further investigation determined that acquisition was warranted. SCP-014 is to all outward appearance as a normal man, but he does not appear to age, and shows no signs of possessing a metabolism. He does not eat, drink, perspire, or in any other way demonstrate life functions. He breathes only to speak, and apart from his eyes and vocal apparatus, is to all appearances utterly immobile. He has never shown any evidence of pressure ulcers despite his position not having varied for several decades. Neither do his muscles appear atrophied. He can converse normally, but shows little knowledge of or interest in events since his confinement. SCP-015. SCP-015 is a mass of pipes, vents, boilers, and other various plumbing apparatus completely filling a warehouse in. The pipes appear to grow when not under observation, attempting to connect to nearby structures via sewer systems and underground plumbing. SCP-015 contains, at current estimate, over 190 kilometers of pipes, ranging in diameter from 2.5 centimeters to over 1 meter. Some pipes appear new, while others are rusted and leaking. Pipes have been reported as being made of bone, wood, steel, brass ash, human flesh, glass, and granite. No pipes composed of lead, PVC plastic, copper, or any other traditional material for the production of pipes have been found. SCP-015 reacts to tools and aggression. Any personnel acting violently, carrying tools, or attempting to damage or repair SCP-015 in any way will trigger a reaction. Any pipes near the subject will burst, spraying on the subject for several seconds before the flow suddenly stops. Pipes have been reported containing oil, mercury, rats, a species of insect not yet identified, ground glass, seawater, entrails, and molten iron. Pipes will continue to burst around the subject until death or retreat. SCP-015 was cut back to its current structure after attaching to 11 other structures in the area. Currently, 11 personnel have been killed, and 20 more are still missing. Reports have been made of banging and screaming coming from within SCP-015. SCP-016. SCP-016 is a bloodborne pathogen recovered from a mine worker who injured himself while working in a deep coal seam. Said wound became contaminated with coal dust from the mine, possibly infecting the worker with dormant spores. Over the next several days, SCP-016 proceeded to infect the remaining employees at the mining camp, as well as the CDC crisis team dispatched to deal with the epidemic. Foundation personnel then took over the investigation and terminated all affected personnel. Patient 0 was brought into captivity, and the mine shaft was collapsed by an explosive device. SCP-016 has an incubation period ranging from 24 hours to 2 years, depending on the presence and number of other human hosts in the area. First symptoms resemble the common cold, and include itchy eyes, runny nose, coughing, and bodily aches. Phase 2 begins in 48 hours, and consists of a controlled form of hemorrhagic fever, as the organism causes a small amount of blood to become aspirated in the lungs, creating an aerosol effect. During Phase 3, the host crashes and bleeds out, bleeding profusely from every bodily orifice, including the nose, tear ducts, anus, skin pores, mouth, urethra, and vagina. Blood pressure skyrockets during the final stage. Hosts have been observed projectile vomiting blood to distances of over 5 meters. Should the host survive this near-total exsanguination, the pathogen will become dormant once more, returning to incubation phase. What distinguishes SCP-016 from other strains of hemorrhagic fever such as Ebola and Marburg is its unusual response to high stress. Should the subject undergo a high-stress situation, the organism will change its survival tactic from rapid reproduction to the rewriting of the host's DNA and stimulation of rapid cell division. Major physiological changes occur within the first 24 hours, with complete bodily reconstruction occurring within 2 weeks' time. Most hosts do not survive the process due to the heavy demands made on the body. An interesting side effect of the transformation is an increased aggressive urge. It is believed that this may be an attempt to maximize the spread of the virus in a manner similar to rabies. On another note, subjects who undergo bodily transformation no longer appear to exhibit SCP-016's hemorrhagic properties. However, subjects infected by transformed hosts will still undergo the normal SCP-016 infection process. SCP-017. SCP-017 is a humanoid figure approximately 80 centimeters in height, anatomically similar to a small child, but with no discernible identifying features. SCP-017 seems to be composed of a shadowy, smoke-like shroud. No attempt to find any object beneath the shroud has been successful, but the possibility has not been ruled out. SCP-017's reaction to shadows cast upon it is immediate and swift. SCP-017 leaps at the object casting the shadow and completely encloses it in its shroud, whereupon it returns to its normal size, leaving no trace of the object behind. SCP-018. SCP-018 has the appearance of a super ball made by the Wamo Company in 1969. It is 6 centimeters in diameter and colored red. Found when the company was hired to clean out a warehouse that had Wamo merchandise in it. SCP-018 was noted to be able to bounce with extreme height. At first thought to be a pleasant child's toy, SCP-018 was able to bounce with over 200% efficiency. The ball soon became a dangerous projectile, reaching speeds estimated at over 100 kilometers per hour and damaging property and injuring 5 in the city of. It came to a rest after several days in the nearby lake of and was retrieved by SCP personnel. Due to the speed of the object and the total surprise by its victims, no cover-up story was required or initiated. SCP-019. SCP-019 appears to be a very large ceramic vase, 1.8 meters in diameter at the mouth and 2.4 meters high. Style and decoration indicate it was created in classical Greece, although conclusive dating is impossible, as the surface is entirely unbreakable by any known means. If a successful method is discovered, SCP-019 is to be destroyed with prejudice. Periodically, entities emerge from SCP-019. Collectively, these are known as SCP-0192. The entities vary in many aspects, but tend to be small, vaguely humanoid, and extremely hostile. They often choose to attack with teeth or claws. Although fairly delicate, they are reasonably strong and pose a considerable threat in large numbers. When kept at 0 degrees Celsius and totally at rest, entities will emerge from SCP-019 at a rate of approximately 1 entity per hour. The following traits are known to affect SCP-0192's manifestation rate. Movement of SCP-019. Threat to SCP-019. Extreme temperature highs and lows. Sudden shift in surrounding environment. Introduction of objects or organisms to the inside of SCP-019. Traits that may or may not influence SCP-019-2's manifestation rate. Presence of human life near SCP-019. Current weather patterns. Specific individuals near SCP-019. In addition, tipping or tilting SCP-019 will create a reaction as though it was previously filled with SCP-0192 specimens, although viewers looking into SCP-019 from above will merely observe a dark hole. Due to the production rates of SCP-019-2 when the object is disturbed, measurement of the internal cavity is difficult, but it is suspected to be inconsistent with outside measurements. SCP-020. SCP-020 is a fast-spreading fungal organism that is capable of affecting the senses and behavior of living creatures, including humans. Samples of SCP-020 exhibit an unknown effect that renders them effectively invisible to direct observation, even when under a microscope. SCP-020 is only visible to humans when viewed through photographic or video surveillance. Once SCP-020 forms a colony, usually within a human residence, it will produce spores that affect the behavior of humans around it. Affected subjects will increase the heat and humidity within their homes to create an environment more suitable to the growth of SCP-020. Affected subjects also become more sociable in many cases, and often invite acquaintances to their homes to further spread the organism. As the spores and mold colonies are invisible to affected subjects, the mold may sometimes grow directly on living subjects. As the spores and colonies within a home approach critical concentration, the health of affected human subjects will rapidly deteriorate, resulting in death. Further spread of the mold may occur as the bodies of any deceased subjects are encountered by emergency responders and healthcare agents, as well as transportation of the bodies to local morgues. SCP-020 was first encountered in where an undercover SCP agent noted dramatic personality changes in personnel working at the local hospital. Upon investigation by a containment team, it was discovered that almost civilians had been infected, as well as a majority of the town. The civilian population was terminated, and the town incinerated under cover of a local flash forest fire. To date, over 12 outbreaks of SCP-020 have been reported. Investigations are currently underway to determine the source of these outbreaks and possible preventative measures. SCP-021. SCP-021 takes the form of a large and elaborate tattoo of a serpentine dragon in the Oriental style, covering approximately 0.8 square meters of skin. This tattoo is fully animate within the confines of its host's skin and behaves largely as a normal animal would, albeit in only 2 dimensions. The tattoo's movement causes constant pain to its host, comparable and similar in character to simultaneous tattooing and tattoo removal on a large scale. The organism tends to spend most of its time on and near the torso. SCP-021 displays no intelligence beyond a basic pattern of feeding and locomotion, although actually measuring the intelligence of a 2-dimensional life form has proven impossible thus far. SCP-021 appears to feed exclusively on pigments in the host's skin. This can include melanin, in which case the subject appears to be suffering from vitiligo. However, the organism shows a marked preference for other tattoos and will seek out and devour these before resorting to natural pigments. It should be noted that the feeding process itself, beyond the sensation of movement, is painless. Normal tattoo ink simply vanishes as it is eaten. The organism maintains a constant size, and no excretions have been observed. The organism is capable of clearing over 0.6 square meters of skin per hour. One may feed SCP-021 by tattooing fruits or small animals on the host. SCP-021 can be transferred between hosts by various forms of physical contact, with differing rates of success. In the case of successful transfer, the organism simply swims from one person to the other. Sexual intercourse appears to be the most reliable method of transfer, with a 93% rate of transmission. However, due to the severe pain involved, this is less than ideal. Contact between 2 open wounds is generally preferable. Transfer is more complicated in deceased subjects, though not unreasonably so. The organism suffers no ill effects from the death of its host and continues to consume pigments. Transmission between species is unknown. Previous tests suggested to be either impossible or exceedingly rare. SCP-021 does confer some benefits to its host. The tattoo has been proven to accelerate the release and reuptake of epinephrine and decrease lactic acid buildup, providing boosts of strength, confidence, and pain tolerance in stressful situations and reducing the usual after effects of weakness and fatigue. In addition, the tattoo seems to have some beneficial effect on the host's immune system. Aggression profiles in hosts are generally higher than average, though whether this is a direct effect of the tattoo or simply a reaction to the constant pain remains to be seen. The symbiotic relationship is usually limited by how long the host can tolerate such pain in everyday life. This has culminated in suicide in a number of subjects. In rare cases, hosts have also fallen victim to fatal skin infections. SCP-021's origins and nature are a mystery. Tracing its transmission from host to host is hardly feasible within the confines of secrecy, and the organism could well be hundreds of years old, if not more. Nevertheless, SCP-021's captivity is one of the longest in the Foundation's history at nearly years, and has been very educational thus far. Current research focuses mainly on observing the characteristics of life in 2 dimensions. SCP-022. SCP-022 is a morgue in the basement of hospital in Great Britain. Until 1980, there were no reported anomalous occurrences within the morgue. Reports of strange activity were first received in November of 1980. The area was soon quarantined by the Foundation, with an official story being released that the entire building had been condemned. The reason for the sudden manifestation of its strange properties remains under investigation. Periodically, a random drawer within the morgue will open to reveal a cadaver under a covered sheet. After approximately 6 minutes open, the cadaver will animate and attempt to leave the morgue. At this point, the cadaver is given the designation SCP-022-1. In some cases, the cadaver will be too damaged or decomposed to successfully exit SCP-022 or even rise from the table it lies on. In this case, SCP-022-1 will typically struggle and twitch on the table until expiration occurs. Should an instance of SCP-022-1 expire while remaining on the table slides back into the drawer, which then shuts. Reports indicate that the scent of burnt tissue is evident immediately following such an event. The energy source that sustains instances of SCP-022-1 is currently unknown. Instances do not breathe, eat, or sleep, and their bodies produce no heat. Analysis of SCP-022-1 following expiration has discovered no abnormal organs or chemicals present. They appear to be fully human cadavers. Instances also possess physical strength that exceeds that of normal humans.
What did you get?
A 94.
That's good. AAA Auto Insurance scored a 94 on member satisfaction.
What? AAA Auto Insurance?
Uh-huh.
Though direct testing has proven problematic, researchers estimate the strength increase to be approximately 500 newtons of lifting force, greater than what one would expect of a human body sharing a similar condition. Analysis is underway to determine if this effect is connected to the unknown power source or if it is an entirely separate phenomenon. When body parts are severed from SCP-022-1, the portion with the greatest mass retains its effects. All other pieces become inert. Destruction of the head or brain does not neutralize SCP-022-1. Instead, the lower torso and limbs remain animate. Complete tissue destruction appears to be the only method of successfully terminating instances of SCP-022-1. Left alone, instances of SCP-022-1 will simply expire. All motion ceases and they appear to become normal cadavers again. The amount of time this takes depends on how damaged the body is and the rate of decomposition, and can take anywhere between 2 days and 3 weeks. Investigation has revealed that the bodies acting as SCP-022-1 match the description of cadavers reported to have been stolen from morgues across the country. The mechanism for this transfer is currently being researched. Adding any new matter to SCP-022 has thus far proved impossible. Any object that enters SCP-022 disappears shortly after passing through the door, leaving no trace. This includes inanimate objects and biological specimens. So long as an instance of SCP-022-1 possesses a functioning mouth, tongue, and trachea, it is able to communicate fully with researchers. SCP-023. SCP-023 is a large, sexless shaggy canine with black fur. Anytime an individual makes eye contact with SCP-023, either that person or a member of their immediate family will die exactly 1 year after eye contact is broken. Research into the method of selection is incomplete due to a moratorium on experiments, but the available data suggests that having a larger immediate family lessens the chance of the individual making eye contact themselves dying, and neither a pattern nor a preference in victim types have been found. This may indicate that SCP-023's victim is designated entirely at random, but it is unknown whether this selection occurs at the beginning or at the end of the 1 year time period. Attempts to terminate an individual who has made eye contact with SCP-023 and their entire immediate family before the 1 year time period has ended. Autopsies of individuals killed by SCP-023's effects show that, while outwardly appearing unharmed, their remains have been filled in with highly compacted ash, including but not limited to all organ systems and the circulatory system. Muscle tissue, bones, and brain tissue universally show signs of exposure to temperatures above degrees Celsius. If not contained in a setting that at least superficially resembles a crossroads, SCP-023 will phase through walls to get to the nearest suitable location, incinerating all materials it passes through. SCP-023 was first brought to the Foundation's attention when it attacked a church while it was in session, killing civilians directly and as a result of eye contact. Following retrieval of SCP-023, Class B amnestics were administered to all witnesses and surviving victims. The incident was covered up as a case of arson. SCP-024. SCP-024 is an abandoned sound stage that was once owned by. However, SCP-024 itself had been abandoned since and it is unknown whether its special properties manifested before or after its abandonment. SCP-024 is located in the heart of and was initially discovered when a group of teenage youths broke into the abandoned compound. The testimony of the lone winner when she turned herself into the police was enough to have Foundation assets mobilized to contain SCP-024. Upon entering SCP-024, visitors are immediately greeted by an anonymous announcer who communicates via intercom and is able to hear and comprehend the voices of people within SCP-024. The announcer will inform the contestants that they are about to take part in a game show in which the winners will win fabulous prizes, but will also warn that the game will be extremely hazardous and that the losers will never leave SCP-024. It is at this point the announcer presents the choice of whether to stay or leave SCP-024. Contestants who accept will continue to participate in the game while those who decline are immediately expelled from SCP-024. Contestants that win the game or decline to participate may never enter SCP-024 again, as entry is denied by an impenetrable, invisible barrier. It is then that the contestants are led to the actual game. The style, composition, and appearance of the game always changes in every individual playthrough, but the game is always centered around a long, elaborate obstacle course that the contestants must navigate through. The rules also vary. Some playthroughs may only allow a single winner, while others encourage the creation of teams to win the game. More often than not, the obstacles seen in these games range from incredibly benign to extremely hazardous and life-threatening. As the contestants attempt to negotiate the course, the announcer will continuously update their status and actively participate in the game, often giving advice, conversing with contestants, and adding new rules. As the game progresses, the obstacles become significantly more dangerous and difficult to overcome, and it is not surprising to have the entire pool of contestants succumb to the rigors of the obstacle course. If such an event happens, the announcer will express sadness at the lack of a winner and SCP-024 will shut down, resetting only when a new batch of contestants enter. Any attempts to break the rules, such as assaulting other contestants and deliberately bypassing obstacles, are met by extreme violence. The announcer will call out the offending contestant, who will be quickly and forcefully ejected from the course by Studio Guardians. These Studio Guardians will immediately materialize within SCP-024 when called upon by the announcer and disappear when not needed. The contestant will never be seen again. When a winner is declared, he or she will receive a random grand prize. Any contestants that have survived the course but failed to win are immediately declared losers by the announcer. The lights will switch off, and the winner will immediately appear outside of SCP-024 with his or her prize while the losers completely disappear. However, the most mysterious aspect of SCP-024 is that after every game, a VHS tape or DVD will appear in the mailbox outside of SCP-024's main entrance. This recording is a complete record of the entire game that was previously played, even though winners have claimed that they had never seen any cameras or recording devices inside SCP-024. Also, more strangely, a live studio audience can be seen in the background cheering on the contestants. Again, winners have claimed not to have seen a live studio audience while inside SCP-024. SCP-025. SCP-025 is a wooden wardrobe measuring 0.97 meters by 0.62 meters by 1.95 meters, full of clothing dating from a number of time periods. Articles contained within the chest, collectively named SCP-025-1, match with styles of decades from the 1920s to the present. The apparel from each time frame varies with regard to style. For example, a polyester striped shirt and pair of charcoal suit pants both correspond with general styles of the 1970s. The only unifying aspect of every article contained in SCP-025 is that each one is in poor condition. Moths have eaten at much of the collection, and tears and runs are not uncommon. When any item from SCP-025 is put on, the wearer is observed either to die or suffer an injury within 24 hours. The cause of death or injury in these instances is invariably linked to the aforementioned flaws in the clothing, but only ever appears to be an unrelated incident. Wearing a glove with a fingertip cut off may result in the loss of the fingertip through a simple kitchen accident like chopping onions. Similarly, a subject wearing a poncho with a sleeve missing will somehow cause the loss of the uncovered arm, be it an attack by a wild animal or a vehicular accident that necessitates the amputation of the limb. If placed in a sealed, unfurnished enclosure while wearing an item from the chest, the wearer will either seemingly spontaneously contract a flesh-eating disease that begins in the areas not covered by the clothing, or suffer the failure of an organ located beneath an imperfection in the article. Diseases arising from such incidents may or may not be contagious. No study has been successfully undertaken due to the speed at which the strains observed run their course. Recommended that, if possible, samples of the disease be taken to lab for possible weaponization. SCP-026. SCP-026 is a 3-story public school building built in. It has 2 wings connected to a central foyer. It was declared condemned in. After it was found the floor plan didn't match up to the building's blueprints. It came to the Foundation's attention after several disappearances in the area were linked to visits to the abandoned building. SCP-027. SCP-027. SCP-027 appears to be a phenomenon of unknown source that seems to be tied to one human subject at a time. As host to SCP-027, Subject 02702 is constantly surrounded by swarming vermin that are drawn to his location. The subject does not appear able to assert control over these creatures in any way, and is in fact prone to occasional attacks from feral specimens. These creatures have also been known to attack personnel who approach too closely. Wherever the subject goes, an initial swarm of flying insects such as gnats and flies will start to form a cloud around him, usually within 2 to 3 minutes. Shortly thereafter, crawling animals will begin to appear. The longer the subject remains in a location, the more vermin will gather there. When the subject leaves a location, some of these creatures will follow, but most will disperse. SCP-027 has been known to transfer between hosts once, upon the death of the first known host, Subject 02701. Since SCP-027 could likely repeat this feat upon the death of Subject 02702, all high-value personnel should be kept far away from the current host until more about SCP-027 is understood. SCP-027 has also likely transferred between hosts an unknown number of times before containment. Research into potential previous hosts has commenced, with preliminary evidence suggesting that SCP-027 may have existed for at least years. It is not yet known how SCP-027 chooses or attracts animals, or even what SCP-027 exactly is. The previous host never expressed having any sort of communication with a separate conscious entity. Analysis of the current host has been inconclusive at best. SCP-028. SCP-028 is located in an abandoned storage yard outside a copper mine in northern Michigan. SCP-028 has no detectable physical presence of any kind, but its effect occurs in a 2.1 meter cube around what is commonly held as the center of SCP-028. All forms of scanning and testing in the area of SCP-028 have shown no abnormal readings. Adding or removing objects, or attempting to remove dirt from under SCP-028 has no effect in altering the size or shape of SCP-028's area of effect, nor the onset or quality of the effect. Subjects entering SCP-028 are, within 3 to 6 seconds, struck by total and complete knowledge of a subject. This knowledge is thus far completely random in both size and usefulness, and sometimes goes unnoticed for extended periods of time. More profound knowledge generally has a stronger effect, with some cases. This effect can be experienced multiple times by exiting and re-entering SCP-028, but can result in increasingly strong migraines and dizziness after 2 exposures. SCP-028 came to the Foundation's attention after research into news reports of a local miner who submitted a design for a cold fusion reactor to the U.S. Patent Office. Mr. reported that it just came to me, like a bolt out of the blue. News and subjects were suppressed and contained after discovery of SCP-028, and the reactor designs implemented in the containment of SCP-1995. SCP-029. SCP-029 appears to be a pubescent female of Asiatic Indian descent. She appears to suffer from alopecia universalis. Over 80% of her pigmentation is a true black, while the rest of her skin has a complete lack of melanin, to the point of albinism. Her eyes are also a dark black in color. SCP-029 has severe homicidal tendencies and has displayed a remarkable ability to use any item as a weapon. However, she has a severe compulsion against shedding blood, preferring instead to strangle her victims. SCP-029 has demonstrated dexterity and physical reactions 4 times as fast as the average human. SCP-029 has also displayed extensive resistance to damage of all forms. Both of these extra-human abilities are greatly hampered in the presence of bright or direct light, natural or artificial. In addition, any males who come within the presence of SCP-029, an area defined by her current perception, find themselves pliant to her will. Such males become willing to kill or even die for SCP-029. SCP-029 refers to herself as, which roughly translates to Daughter of Darkness, Daughter of Shadows, or Daughter of Night. Interviews with SCP-029 have proven difficult to conduct, due to SCP-029's constant attempts to kill or convert all who speak with her. Over her years of captivity, the black patches on her skin have increased in size. SCP-029 was first brought to the Foundation's attention by an agent working in rural India. An attempt on his life led him to a small cult of men who claimed to be thuggies, in service to the daughter. Several weeks of investigation proved that they believed the world to be in the last years of the Kali Yuga, and that by sacrificing 1 million lives to the Daughter of Darkness, they could raise their goddess and end the world. They also believed that only sacrifices performed through strangulation added to this tally. Events led the agent to their mountain fortress, where he discovered SCP-029. After the loss of said agent, which ended in our acquisition of SCP-029. SCP-030. SCP-030 appears as a hairless, genderless, gray-toned human 71 centimeters in height and weighing 12.70 kilograms. Its solid blue eyes lack discernible irises or pupils, and resemble small-cut sapphires. SCP-030 possesses an androgynous voice with a pronounced English accent not currently identifiable as specific to any modern region. It is able to converse, read and write in ancient Greek, Latin, Italian, English, Spanish and Portuguese, as well as 2 additional languages that have not yet been identified despite SCP-030's insistence that they should be common knowledge. SCP-030 has also demonstrated knowledge of physics, chemistry, astronomy, mathematics and horticulture roughly equivalent to that of a 17th century CE academic. In addition, SCP-030 has demonstrated knowledge on these topics along research lines that do not appear in the historical record. These alternative or entirely unknown approaches to research in the natural sciences are one source of SCP-030's utility and consultation. SCP-030 remains active while a 15 lumen source of light or greater is within 1.5 meters. In the absence of light, SCP-030 becomes inert, apparently losing consciousness and showing no outward signs of life. Within 5 to 10 seconds of being re-exposed to light, SCP-030 becomes active once more, appearing to come out of a light slumber no matter how long the period of inactivity has been. SCP-030 does not appear to require these periods of inactivity as a human would require sleep, and has expressed a desire to remain active as often as possible. Biopsy analysis of SCP-030 remains inconclusive. While clays native to the English counties of Kent, Surrey, and Greater London make up the majority of its structure, traces of mandrake, lye, mercury, and human blood have been found in each sample taken. SCP-030 has expressed that a full exploratory surgery to determine its workings would potentially end its existence. Samples removed from SCP-030 do not regenerate, and sampling is currently discontinued to preserve its integrity. Although SCP-030 can be damaged, it does not appear to feel pain, and will simply remote any portion of its anatomy that experiences deformation. Notably, SCP-030 cannot be molded directly by human hands, though any number of tools may be used to alter its surface. SCP-030 does not respirate, requires no sustenance, and produces no waste, although it doesn't frequently request a bath. SCP-030 refers to itself as Ariel and regularly requests that staff do the same. Questions regarding how SCP-030 was created and by whom are routinely answered with the seemingly rote statement, "I have been asked to forget that bit of information. Terribly sorry." SCP-030 delivers this response in the same tone and cadence each time any question regarding its origins or creator are presented. Given its composition and location of origin, a link to the alchemists of Alagada is suspected. SCP-030 was discovered June 12. During a mandatory archaeological survey within London's Mortlake district pending construction of a car park. It was buried approximately 2.7 meters below street level, contained in a small stone sarcophagus. The sarcophagus bore no markings and was assumed to be that of a deceased infant as additional graves were discovered in the survey area. The sarcophagus lid was shattered during the excavation, exposing SCP-030 to daylight. Upon being struck by the sun's rays, SCP-030 roused from its inert state to one of mild activity within a few seconds, stating, "Good afternoon" to the assembled construction team. A member of the Foundation's Greater London Recon Force was summoned within hours and took the specimen into custody without resistance. The limited number of witnesses were given amnestics and released. SCP-031 is an amorphous organism with a mass of over 7,500 kilograms that has infiltrated the ductwork and maintenance infrastructure of the building. Tendrils emerging from SCP-031's central mass have spread through the hotel's plumbing and ductwork to all 105 floors of the building. At its peak, over 75% of the hotel's 3,000 rooms were contaminated by SCP-031. Reclamation efforts have destroyed % of the initial infestation, but over rooms remain affected by SCP-031. SCP-031 tendrils terminate in a pod-like structure consisting of an ovoid structure approximately 2 meters in length, with multiple ciliary-like structures branching off of the main body. On some occasions, subjects in the presence of an SCP-031 sporocarp will instead perceive it as an individual the subject had a close emotional connection to in their past. The SCP-031 sporocarp will metamorphose into the shape of the person perceived, and attempt to persuade the subject to remain with them for an extended period of time. The SCP-031 sporocarp will next attempt to make physical contact with the targeted individual with their ciliary-like structures. Digestive juices will be injected into the subject's body, and their flesh will be consumed and incorporated into SCP-031's body mass. In the meantime, a secondary flagellum will engulf the subject's cranium and brain, replacing the blood vessels with its own tendrils, which will maintain life support of the affected brain by some yet undiscovered means. The tendrils will decerebrate the subject and transport the subject's cranium back through the building's ductwork where it is incorporated into the central mass. Footage taken through surveillance drones indicate that there are currently crania in the network of tendrils attached to SCP-031's central mass. By all indications, the brains contained within are still alive and may be conscious. Thanks for watching.
Item number: SCP-1407. Object class: Euclid. Special containment procedures. All instances of SCP-1407 are to be contained in standard security lockers, located within Site-77. Personnel assigned to SCP-1407 are to wear ear protection while interacting with SCP-1407. Any subjects found to have been affected by SCP-1407 are to be quarantined for study, followed by termination. Description: SCP-1407 designates a number of headphone sets, commonly referred to as earbuds. Instances of SCP-1407 are composed of ordinary plastic and various metal wires, along with other components normally found in headphones. Instances of SCP-1407 function normally. When an instance of SCP-1407 is worn in the ear of a human subject, it will begin to extrude metal wires into the subject's ear canal. Subjects will not report feeling these wires, but will indicate that they find the SCP-1407 instance extremely comfortable to wear. After a period of 20 to 45 minutes, these wires reach the cochlea, and will begin to extend into the pores of the ear canal, physically removing any hairs and replacing them with wires. At this point, the subject will be unable to remove the SCP-1407 instance without severely damaging their ear canals. SCP-1407 will continue spreading through the subject's body, most commonly to the outer epidermal tissue and ocular cavities. Subjects may report rashes or impaired vision. Underneath the epidermal tissue, SCP-1407 will create additional instances of itself by replicating its components with bone, muscle, and bodily fluids. In addition, follicles existing on the surface of the epidermal tissue will be replaced with SCP-1407 wires. Additional SCP-1407 instances will also be created in the stomach, cranium, and intestines, usually growing beneath the outer tissue layer and appearing as cysts or hemorrhoids. It takes 1 to 3 days for an SCP-1407 instance to fully spread through the subject's body. If the subject is exposed to sounds greater than 115 dB, the speakers within the subject's body will begin to replicate the sound. As exposure time increases, the subject's skin tissue and any matter occupying the ocular cavities will begin to flake off or dissolve, as the speakers within the subject become louder. In addition, the number of SCP-1407 instances present within the subject will increase continuously, until the pressure within the body causes them to be violently ejected through the subject's orifices, or through tissue weakened by SCP-1407's effect. SCP-1407 was recovered from a nightclub in Miami, Florida, after a DJ suddenly expired during a party. When autopsy reports reached Foundation assets in the local police department, the body was secured along with one instance of SCP-1407. As of November 14, 2006, SCP-1407 has been classified as Euclid. Currently, 11 instances of SCP-1407 are in containment. Addendum. A proposal has been requested by Dr. to use D-Class personnel affected by SCP-1407 to circle around SCP-1009 so that only one speaker needs to be maintained. On-site medical staff are to be present to care for any injuries caused by SCP-1407. If you guys want to see another SCP, please comment down whatever anomaly you want me to talk about.